But my song always resonated to me. Maybe I had a crush, when you were a kid. I don't know.
Secretly, you had
Today I'm starting this episode by saying 2 is company, 3 is a goddamn crowd. There must be a good reason why they say that. Today, as usual, we have a guest. We start by first analyzing the stories that made headlines in the papers during the past week. And we thought with our very good guest, we should start by analyzing 3 out of the 8 that we have. Oh, Johnny. Who does the introduction? Is it me or you?
You.
It's always you.
It's the guests introducing themselves, to be fair.
Okay, tell us about yourself. Why have you followed Tanya?
On the spot.
Why have you followed Tanya?
Why are you here?
No, we need to know why you followed Tanya. Because definitely it's not me.
Why wouldn't I be here? This is a new podcast that is headed for greatness.
I'm fine.
No, it's all me.
Hey,
It's all me.
this month. It's all me.
It's not.
When I saw you guys on TikTok, right? I remember following you guys and sharing some of your videos.
Mm-hmm.
The issues, I like the setup. That's number one. Okay, I've done a podcast before. Okay, and this one is out of this world. And secondly, chemistry with the hosts. It's important. How can they keep us engaged?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that. I don't want to point at fingers. I want.
Pointing.
Okay,
Point.
For now, I don't
Point.
I've got too many words.
It's the only time he's going to point. He won't point again. He won't repoint. But point.
I've got too many words
You do.
right now that I have to now pick my battles very carefully.
Oh,
Some podcasts come out to be too fake. You can tell that, okay, these people are acting. This is not real.
Like which one?
Points.
In my podcast, it's like people have told us that Pure will come down in April, but it's still up there.
It's still
We know it's a Minister of Energy who said that. Wait, point. Anyway.
Yeah, so I like people that are real. You can tell you can have a conversation with these people. That's what a podcast is. It's what makes it different from traditional media, where you sit. This is NBC News. Okay, look, we know you don't even believe what you're saying. We know this is not your opinion. Somebody handed you a script.
It's not your handwriting.
It's not your handwriting. Probably behind the scene, you're even like, oh my God, am I expected to read this? But anyway, the paycheck, I have lots of bills to pay. Let me read it anyway.
Exactly.
So I enjoyed myself when watching the videos, and that's how I followed you guys. And I'm thankful that you guys invited me and considered me to come on this podcast. I'm very thankful.
It wasn't even a hard choice. Like literally, you're the reason we're having this episode.
Oh.
You influenced this episode.
Wow.
Because I was like, we have to have him on, We wanted, I like the way that you approach the political commentary. Yes, you're a bit harsh, but you're not going to have audience if you're not harsh. But you're also you make your argument. It's a valid and important argument. Whereas others, but it's like there's no point in just insulting. Give us a good reason why you want to say what you want to say, and your reasons are always good. I haven't watched one where I'm like, basta. But maybe I haven't watched enough of them.
Maybe you have. Don't watch the really, really
The
old
old
ones
ones,
before I got into this political arena. Yeah.
You should watch the one with the baby boomer.
I watched it though.
You watch the one with the baby boomer.
That one. Yeah.
But can we do a bit of history? Now we can start. But I would like to touch on some history as well.
You are our lady. Please go ahead. Touch on that history. Yes.
I just wanted to ask how you started the TikTok channel, And then, like, at what point did it really start to take off that you were like, okay, this is worth carrying on?
Okay, 2022, I believe that was 2022 May. Okay, no, August. I was that time I was just making content for Facebook. Then a friend of mine told me, okay, you need a TikTok account. I'm like, people just dance on TikTok. That's the perception I had. You know, TikTok has evolved. Okay, so I was like, people just dance there. I don't want to be on that platform. It was like, do it. And I opened a TikTok account. I remember having 300 views for like 2 months. I'm like, this is not working.
It's not working.
It's not working. It's not going to go anywhere. What I didn't know at that time is that all it takes is one video.
Yeah.
Just do one video, say the right thing, and that will take off.
Which was the one? Which was the video?
The video that took off was I was giving 5 reasons. Oh no, 5 things your boyfriend won't tell you, and all the women are like, what are those reasons? You know. So I remember it gave me like 1.4 million views.
Wow.
And it was,
For real?
Yeah. And mind you, it wasn't the first video. There were like 15 videos I made before that one. And
On the same.
5 things that your boyfriend won't tell you. 1.5 million.
1.4 million.
So imagine 5 things your politician, especially your president, won't tell you. It will blow up.
That's actually a very, very good one, right?
It will blow up, yo. Especially in Barcelona.
Yeah, you're right. But with the cyber crimes bill, that could be really difficult to accomplish these days, since you know freedom of speech is now slowly being clamped down.
Brother, you can speak.
Yeah.
What we don't guarantee you is a freedom after you speak. That's
the problem.
Yeah.
So when I made that video, it blew up and it just went outside Zambia as well. I remember women from Uganda, Tanzania, as far as Nigeria.
Was it actually good advice?
It was, but I was simply telling them, like, look, your boyfriend won't tell you that he doesn't like your makeup.
Oh.
And women were like,
What was this coming from? Was it like a rebound?
No, not really.
Or you did like a...
Okay, here's the thing, right? I remember, okay, what you've said adds some weight there. There was like a girl I wanted at that time. And she was giving me my mixed signals. I was very confused. Today she's, hot. Tomorrow she's cold. So what is going on? And then I aired my frustrations on Facebook. I was like, hey, why do girls do this? And then many guys came on like, yeah, me too. Next thing, boom, I had 10,000 views. I was like, I think I have something here. So now, everything that was happening to me in my life, I brought it out and put it out there. And then I had a friend, relationship expert. This guy knows women like the back of his hand. So he
What's
told
his
me.
name?
I can't say.
Can I have his number?
So he tells me.
Time out. Ama can't say Afrisha. We need at least you drop one Canadian.
Okay. He's my best friend. His name is David. He goes by DC. Okay. He tells me, all right, look, if she says this, what she means is this. So I was like, okay, you know what I'll do? I'll take your advice and make it my advice and then make videos out of it.
There you go.
And then
Thanks to David.
I started going up and up. And that video on TikTok, the 1.5, it's what gave me, I think, 7,000 followers. From 300, I hope to 7,000. And I was like, oh, okay. And I just continued with the relationship content until I had like 64,000.
So how did you shift to the political content?
Age. Okay, because...
You're not talking about girls.
Yeah, because when I was talking about girls, I was 27. And I was still too old at that time. Okay? Too old. I started the game too. I was a late bloomer. Okay? So, from there, as I started growing up, and I was like 30, 31, I'm like, I can't do this. And then my big brother over there told me, you know what, I like your content, but You and I, we talk about politics a lot. We don't even talk about girls. I want you to switch up. Those opinions that you have, it's time you put them out there. Somebody probably will agree with you. And it's time you put them out. Yeah. And that's how I started talking about politics. And it just took off like.
Were you surprised? Did you think that maybe the audience shouldn't go down?
At first, I received some resistance because you have this fan base already that knows you just for relationship talks and whatnot. And then now, mind you, this was, you create more like a little cult, okay, of all these guys that follow your content because of relationships. And then now you get into politics. Now you split your audience. Your fans, they are those that are of the current administration and those who are of the opposition. So now you have to choose. It's like choosing which baby is going to eat. But at the end of the day, I thought to myself, like, look, it's okay for you to be a fan of my old content and not my new content. But at the end of the day, it's me. Okay, I'm going to do what I want and what I see to be important at the end of the day. I'm like, I remember when I made my first video, I was telling my followers, I was like, look, we are being distracted as a people. There are people who are paid just to distract the public.
I watched that video actually. Yeah. It was something came up and I think the government was getting a lot of heat.
Yes.
And then they spun it by introducing something to the public.
Yeah.
And everyone was like, yeah. Then he was like, there's a bigger thing. You're leaving this thing here. So yeah.
Yeah, because I noticed there was a pattern. Every time there's something like a scandal in the government, 2 hours later, somebody drops a sex tape. Somebody's celebrity beef, saw this. I was like, at first I didn't know, when I noticed it, I was like, maybe it's just coincidence. Then it happened 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. No. There's a pattern here. This is orchestrated. And then somebody whispered in my ear to say, oh no, certain individuals are being paid to do exactly just that. I was like, oh. And with time, they started revealing themselves.
That's the one they accused Chanda.
Yes,
it wasn't him.
Yeah, and they accused him for doing that. And from there, he came out to say, hey, look, TXN, I have money, I have Shan, oh, they've given me highlights. People are like, oh, there you go. There you go. Oh. So, okay, that's what was going on. So, we don't know whether it's true or not, but that's what he said. So, we're like, okay. But I didn't even, I, for one, I didn't even think Chanda was one of them. I was alluding to other people. And then he himself sprang up and said it, and we're like, oh, so you too? Which was very strange. And from there, that's basically how my journey has been when it comes to politics. I love politics more than I did the relationship content. The relationship content was just coming from somewhere.
So, madam, did you make up now, madam?
Yeah, well, then I realized it wasn't worth it. Then I was like, oh, okay, but I thank you for frustrating me to create this content, because if it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am today. So, I think everything happens for a reason. So, yeah.
Esnat, thank you very much.
She's not Esnat.
We are very thankful that you...
Imagine if you got the name right.
That would have been crazy, Yeah.
All right. Any more on the history?
No, I think that kind of brings us to a good place. So, yeah.
So, Tanya and I I don't know if you got frustrated or we figured she always throws bombs about these guys and whatnot. So we figured, and whatnot, why don't you rate the ministers? So we figured rating the ministers is good, but we need a guest. From our end, that's how you came in. This rating of ministers, we can do it, but it will be much better if we have a guest. So, content creators, shining. There's a Mr. Baby Boomer here. So, yeah, it'll be great. So she was like, no, let's get him. I'm like, okay, you press the button. And here you are drinking our water.
Thank you.
Yes.
For allowing me to drink your water.
But our main topic today is for you to help us highlight the performance of the cabinet ministers in the formerly new Dawn government, because someone says we're no longer new.
Now we're not in
Yeah.
the dawn anymore.
Yeah. So we obviously have a criteria we chose to follow in terms of grading them. But before that, we have a new segment where we discuss the top stories of the week.
Okay.
And we'll start with what Dr. Alex Ngoma talked about. My friend here decided not to, so Ngarufianya forgive her.
Okay.
She decided to drink the story instead of read the damn story. What's wrong with you? Political analyst Dr. Alex Ngoma has stated that the dismissal of Gary Nkombo shouldn't be a surprising matter. This is not my handwriting, copy paste. As the power to hire and fire lies with the president. However, speaking to Capital FM, Dr. Ngoma notes that Gary was not an ordinary person in the ruling party, but a senior member with significant contributions. He says his dismissal suggests that he must have done something substantial to displease the president. The comment comes after President Hakainde Hichilema terminated the appointment of Gary Nkombo as Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and replaced him with a buffalo. All right.
He actually said that.
No.
I thought I was like, wow, that was a really strong thing to say.
No, you didn't say that. I'm just kidding. So, your comments. Gary, on our list, has been rated. He's one of the good guys for I think both of you.
Yeah.
One of you.
Yeah, and him being dismissed kind of.
So, how does it hit you guys that your favorite minister has been displaced?
Okay, so for me, I think favorite minister is too strong.
It was a bit strong for
It's
you.
too strong for me, you know.
Just pushing
Not
it.
favorite. What I would say
Acceptable.
for me, thank you. That's the word I was looking for. Gary Nkombo, to me, Honorable Gary Nkombo is when I look at the UPND administration, he's the only one that has always, shown signs to say, okay, I could sit down and have a conversation with this man. He sounds reasonable, smart, okay? And I like the way he expresses himself and how he puts things out there, okay? And I think to myself, he's been a member of UPND since the late 90s, if I'm not mistaken.
It's his fourth term.
Yeah, and
That's 20 years.
yeah, quite a long time.
Yeah.
I remember watching some of his videos a few months back when he was, I think, protesting in 2001. He was so young, So I think to myself, okay, these are to me, pioneers of the UPND. Okay, he was UPND before our current president was UPND. Okay, and my family knew Gary Nkombo before we even knew President Hichilema, right?
Okay.
So to me, I thought, okay, him being a senior member of UPND, he's a very intelligent man. I think he's somebody I would sit down, even though I'm of the opposition, I'm not with UPND, but I would sit down with him. I would actually even want to learn a lot from him, And him being dismissed like this it's quite sad. But hey, like they say, the president must have his reasons on why he did that. So.
Well, you say must have. There's something that we're not being told.
Obviously.
It's a bit. It was too out of the blue. We don't have stacks of reasons why this has happened. You can look at so many other ministers and say, why is this one still not fired?
Yeah.
And yet him, one of the ones that we probably deem the more professional, is the one that's picked to be fired. So I don't understand what's going on in that sense.
Yeah, because
But do you think he's leaving because he wants to maybe set up his own thing?
Okay, before his dismissal, there were rumors flying around. Okay, they've been in the air for quite some time now. Okay, there was a time when, if you remember, when Honorable Gary Nkombo when UPND just came into office, let's call it a blunder, scandal. With that Kachasu scandal he did.
That was not a scandal, you guys.
No, okay.
What was it?
Public perception, okay, they didn't handle it very well.
Gary, you did well to make those people drink that cachasu. I support you.
Okay, so after that incident, happened, Honorable Gary became very quiet. Remember, he was very vocal with the Honorable Leader. But we thought, oh, maybe he's busy, he's working. And then he became too quiet. It was a year, 2, 3, we're like, nobody's this quiet, you know? You can't be Minister of Local Government and Rural Development and be this quiet, okay? In Parliament, somebody who was very vocal, you'd expect them to, you know? He was just seated in the back.
So even in Parliament,
He wasn't as active, okay?
Maybe that's why he got fired.
Okay, maybe.
Yeah,
but
then
I thought to myself, come on, majority of the UPND members of Parliament are inactive.
Yeah,
Okay?
exactly.
They just
Yeah.
It's always the opposition speaking, and then the members of Parliament of the ruling are either on the defense or quiet.
Exactly.
Right? They don't even present anything. Okay. So when we saw Honorable Gary Gombo being quiet, people say, you know, rumors started flying around to say, oh no, UPND has 2 factions. There is the Gary Gombo side and President Hichilema's side.
That's on you. That was even from
That's
before.
the thing. It's been there for quite some time. And him being a senior member of UPND for such a long time, you would actually think to say, okay, that's really possible. Okay? So people start asking questions like, okay, maybe that's why it's quiet. And then certain members of Parliament from the UPND started asking really tough questions. You know, they were asking tough questions to do with the Mupani issue. I think that was the member of Parliament of Kalabo, forgotten his name. He was asking the mines minister, Honorable Kabuse, he was asking him to say, hey, have you sold Mupani? Yes or no? You haven't been very clear, you've been vague. I was like, that's a question that we expect coming from the opposition,
right,
not from inside the circle, you know? And people are like, do you think this man is on Gary Gombo's side? And then, you know, all that, we started seeing ministers who are kind of asking questions the ruling would be uncomfortable in answering. But others were like, no, UPND is very democratic. We are like, okay, sure, fine. Let's go with
an
that.
external story that people.
So yeah, I mean, it's quite sad, really.
Mami, you're Gary.
Uh,
According to Dr. Alex Ngoma, he says his contributions were significant.
yeah.
So you're not in agreement with the dismissal, you guys?
Look, it's a family affair. To me, I'm like, oh, so sad for Wagari. I actually like Wagari.
It's not a family affair. This is we try and act like we can't have negative things happening.
Yeah.
If something within the political system is not working, then that starts to show within the factions that start to form. So there's something not quite right. There's something not sitting right in the party. And whether, let's say, Gary believes he's going to be a better president or whatever, or maybe HH is trying to keep him down, we don't know. We're speculating.
Yeah.
But something is afoot, and it will come to light very soon.
Yeah.
Elections are coming.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving along. Mina, I do not give a flying fudge why he was fired. If he's fired, if he's still there, because the entire system is not working.
I mean, it's not just that party.
Yeah.
All the parties are just in
That's why I
such
said
a
the entire
bad
system.
state.
Yeah.
You know,
Imagine
the
if
political landscape is bordering on embarrassing in Zambia, I have to say.
It's quite mediocre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're under mediocre. Yeah?
No, it is.
Is it not?
That's a good word.
Yeah.
Now that gone deep. But moving on, our next story is Patriots for Economic Progress.
Is she?
Patriots for Economic Progress.
Patriotic.
Patriots.
Uh-huh.
Okay, Zambian. Patriots.
No, I didn't quite hear it.
The Patriots for Economic Progress, PEP, has announced plans to challenge the newly enacted Cyber Crimes Bill.
Is this a political
2024.
party?
Yes, PEP.
Okay.
Yeah, with one of his favorite people as head,
Which one?
Sean Tembo. I'll tell you about him.
Well, I wouldn't say favorite, but he's a very good man.
Carry on.
Yes.
Yeah, so he wants to challenge the newly enacted Cyber Crimes Bill.
As he should.
and the Cybercrime Security Bill 2024, citing concerns that they infringe upon the Constitution of Zambia. According to the PEP president, Sean Tembo, these bills aim at restricting freedom of expression and criminalize social media use for those holding opposing views to the government. He has warned that this could lead to thousands of citizens, particularly the youth, that are being imprisoned unjustly within months of the laws taking effect. Chabota, how are you going to defend yourself?
This one. But here is the thing, okay? How am I going to defend myself?
Mm-hmm.
I'll put it in God's hands. I do not lie. I do not spew propaganda. I do not preach hate. I do not insult. Okay? I may get a few things wrong. Okay?
You
Sometimes
don't insult.
other videos, yeah. Oh, you should do that.
But off the video, you unleash.
Of course.
Everybody
You
does.
get frustrated, you release one or
You
two.
unleash anywhere.
So, I for one, I'm okay.
Okay.
Personally, I'm okay. I sleep like a baby. But I see the problem with this cybercrime bill for what it is. Okay, it's not an issue of safety, creating a safer environment for the internet. No, that we all know that's the mask they're hiding behind. I read the clauses. Very controversial. You can tell these clauses were designed to protect themselves, not them. Like for instance, there's a clause, I can't remember, was it clause 9? Somewhere there. The clause was saying you cannot record somebody secretly. Like we are having this conversation, right?
Mm-hmm.
You cannot record, you have to tell them, oh, they can record your phone.
Mm-hmm.
So meaning, if you and I were speaking and you're saying something quite illegal, I cannot use that recording to take you to the police and use it as
It can't be
evidence.
used in evidence.
But this is not standard.
That is
For you,
standard.
that is standard.
That is the
You
UK,
can't
that's the same.
even photography.
Yeah.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? We've had cases where a recorded message was used as evidence in the courts of law. Okay? That's how you shut up whistleblowers. Let's say I walk into a government institution. Okay, I work in a government institution. And some crazy PS is having a conversation with somebody. Okay? And I'm eavesdropping and they're talking, oh no, so this is how we are going to get into that contract and we're going to break it down and then give it to your brother under shan. All that is information. All that is corruption. I have that evidence to say this man is corrupt. But you see, I can't use that. But here's the situation. We've been hearing rumors, I'll carry it as rumors. We've been hearing rumors that certain individuals have been recorded. In fact, last year and the other year and the year before, there were voice recordings of certain government officials being recorded,
Definitely heard.
saying some of the most outrageous and illegal stuff, evil conversations you can think of. That would get one persecuted. So now guess what? We can never use that as evidence once this cybercrime bill is signed on. So whistleblowers have been hacked.
I think one of the problems is those sorts of things which are like you can't film or record someone illegally. It's, for example, if like I was taking a shower and then you were filming me. That's more where that's where the consent comes in. But where something could be a criminal act or an illegal act, then I think you should be able to film it and record it. Like if I heard you plotting to kill HH, why shouldn't I be able to record that and then take it as the only evidence we could ever have is this recording?
I agree
so
with
why should I not be able to use
I
that?
agree with you. Correct. That's true. Okay, but here's the thing. It's the clarity of these clauses. They are not as clear.
Exactly.
That's where the problem.
Exactly.
Meaning they can be easily weaponized.
They can be
so
taken
meaning
into
if I
account.
catch that PS, right, having a conversation of his illegal dealings, and then I take that to the police. Remember, they're the ones in the ruling. To suppress that story, what do you think they're going to do? They're going to say you're lying. If I release it,
Yes, yeah.
they could easily say, I'm lying, this is illegal what you did, and have me
That's an
arrested.
interesting point in terms of proving things here. Do you remember just after the elections, who is that man? That big fat guy who called up someone from, was it Bank of Zambia or something? And he said that Duminako 20 million. And the guy started recording him. And he goes, me, you're asking me to send you 20 million. Do you remember the story?
No,
Literally just when the elections were won.
Okay.
And PF was leaving. So they were doing their last minute land grab.
Yeah.
And this guy phoned, I think it was like Bank of Zambia. But there was proof that there was going to be a corrupt act and nothing happened to that guy. And it was my biggest frustration that I still see this man walking around.
So here's the thing. I do agree, a lot of these guys have been recorded, and mostly, if it's within their camp, nothing will happen. Sub the bill or not. What they are saying is that this bill aims to secure, and I know you're gonna,
No, I read it.
It aims to secure Zambia's digital environment against evolving cyber threats.
Such as?
Yeah.
So, the issue of Bank of Zambia being
What
hacked,
is the
NAPSA being
cyber
hacked,
threat?
and whatnot, they don't talk about those issues. They talk about you attacking a political person,
And that's my
a
point.
politically influenced person.
Yes.
That is why it is. You will not be able to have a normal conversation with them unless you get permission, and that permission is denied. So you decide, I'm going to go on my digital space and air my views with my followers. That is what is being threatened. So what are you guys doing about it?
And this is the thing. First of all, I began condemning it. Okay, that's the first order of business. I condemned it because I saw what it is. Okay, it's not to protect me; it's to silence me. Okay, this is censorship. Okay, and then I remember I follow Honorable Christopher Kangombe. He said, "Look, I'm going to petition. Some of these clauses are ridiculous. We can't have this in a democratic space. This is no dictatorship." Okay, so I'm waiting for Parliament to resume so that we can see where we take it from there. Otherwise, okay, right now they're not. Everybody's more like back to their constituencies for now, but when they get back on the floor of Parliament, then we can hear what happens next. So at this point, the best I can do is wait and hear what we'll do next, and then we can see how we take it from there. Otherwise, this is censorship. I don't see
But I
anything.
think this is the question for me. Like, I don't see how to be able to push against a clause like that. Who is standing up, and what proof or what counter arguments do we put forward? Because I always feel like the counter arguments are very weak. So in the UK, for example, what they will do is they'll say, this person was imprisoned under these circumstances, and this and this and this happened. And then that shows you where that clause doesn't work, if you see what I mean. So whereas just saying, wait, censorship, but you have to prove in what manner can this be deemed as censorship.
Okay.
So that's what we're not doing when we go back and we argue.
You know, the thing is this, right? Given that Zambia, when it comes to this, the censorship issue, they're trying to clamp it down in its infancy. Okay?
But they do it in every way,
Exactly.
even like the rallies. I'm just like, allow everyone to rally. What are you stopping them from doing?
We all know why they don't do that. Okay?
Why?
Perception. Okay? Here is the thing.
Then get your own rally going.
Yes, but you see, it's
You don't
difficult to
stop
get your own
businesses
rally
rising
going.
by bringing other businesses down.
That's true. But if your business is going down due to your incompetence and lack of creativity, of course you want to sabotage your
But
competition.
then we don't want people like that in government.
Exactly.
So we have to be able to stand
Exactly.
against them.
But
We
here's
have to vocalize even if it's deemed censorship.
exactly, you see, but that's the issue, right? They'll be the ones, and going back to what you said, who will be in charge? Because here's the thing, eh? They're saying, oh no, there's a lot of propaganda flying around, a lot of lies and whatever, so on and so forth. But who's going to be the arbiter of that? Who's going to be the one to determine? Who's going to be the fact checkers to say, this is the truth, you lied here, so we are having you arrested? Them?
Well, they'll prove their side. The problem is, I don't think we have a very strong legal system.
Exactly.
And it's always in favor of the
Ruling party. So it's easy.
Exactly.
You can easily weaponize this
yes.
criminal. The
But I
cyber crime
think
bill.
things like this is where we're creating that awareness, you know, because you might have like a known judge, or not a judge, sorry, a known solicitor or someone who is fighting on behalf of the government. But we need the one who's at college, who is also reading and is on the internet to come and counter those things. We need more people.
I can give you an example of the content I make, right? There are individuals from the red camp, okay, the praise singers. They'll come to say, you are misleading the public, you are lying. How am I lying? All I do is research, ask questions on Google, okay? I ask the right questions because it takes intelligence to ask the right questions. I ask the right questions, and then I find all these articles from certified journalists.
It's so easy to
Yes, it's so easy to do. Certified journalists, okay? They give out the data, they did their investigations and all that. And then I pull out those articles and I show you, look, on this day, Reuters said
and that's
this,
what I'm saying.
BBC said this.
The proof that you need. And most cases are won by saying, in this court case that happened in 1964, and and you show the results and outcomes of that. That's what we should be doing. And you can still do it. Like in the case in the UK where this and this and this happened, you can still show where the cybercrime bill is weak.
Exactly. But Tanya, here's the thing, right? In the UK, that's a very advanced democracy there. Here, we've been trying to be an advanced democracy in Africa, and we are about to risk that. We are about to fall behind. Many countries in Africa look to us when it comes to democracy, and we are about to throw that away. Okay, no, we've actually been operating very smoothly for a very long time
safe.
compared to other
We're
countries.
safe, exactly. But that's also part of the problem.
Yes, yeah, it is. But here is the thing: we are about to throw that in the trash.
All right.
With this kind of crimes.
Okay. So, what I see both of you talking about is that there's an issue of precedence, which we pick from and work with. It has worked. What you should realize is our friends lack the intelligence, so they use gun. They come to threaten you. That's why they throw people in jail. That is very common in Zimbabwe, you know this.
Yes.
Whenever you come up with something that's good for the people, it will not work, it will not be adapted, because guess what? It's not working for the party. If it doesn't work for the party, it means it won't work for the government. If it doesn't work for the government, it means they'll be voted out. So what you need to do is firm up your arguments. And start with the issue of, they should not argue if the presidency and the party decided to have a very weak media team at State House.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, this, in my opinion, UPND has the weakest media team ever. They went as far as to hire a PR team from Kenya to come and help them. That didn't work either. And here's the thing, it's not that, in fact, maybe let me just say that again. It's not that the media team is weak, okay? The media team doesn't have much to work with.
I beg to differ.
No, let me explain. I'll defend when the Maximo were here, okay? I'll defend them, okay, for the first time. Thank me. Here is the issue, okay? When you're failing so much, okay, there's only so little you can tell the people I'm succeeding. When everybody can see it, now I'm feeling, wow, you have failed. Look, just because you dumped the pumpkin in water doesn't mean it will turn into a watermelon. People know the economy is failing. It's failing, okay? Poverty is at all-time high. The currency is weakening by the second. This year alone, 4.18% of our currency weakened by that percentage.
But is this uniquely to Zambia, or is this not happening worldwide? Are not a lot of countries going through very similar?
Yes, but here's the
so
thing.
Is it the weakness of the party, or is it the current state of the world?
It's the weakness of one. Yes, look. We can argue to say there are some international challenges.
Can we keep it to Zambia? Because
No,
you know why?
That's one of the problems.
No, that's a fair question.
That's one of the problems, because we act as if like Zambia is like, not influenced by anything else, but it entirely is.
No,
you can't blame everything on the party when it's happening worldwide.
Yes, but now let me give you, let me bring it, let me answer your question, right? Okay. There are things that are, there are things you can't control, okay, on the international stage, okay? Trump makes a policy that affects everybody. That's beyond your control. How you respond to it as a country, That's what matters, okay?
So give me an example.
I'll give you an example. Look, a good archer, right, doesn't blame the wind. They just behave, okay? They just...
They just what?
Look, a real archer...
They just aim.
No, a real archer doesn't blame the wind. Ah, there's too much wind. No. He just finds a way to shoot the arrow at an angle to use the wind at his advantage. That's what we should be doing. I can give you an example.
So how? Okay, go.
Yeah, the example. Let's look at our staple food. People are lining up for our staple food. The moment you start lining up for your staple food, that means you're going under as a country. Let me give you an example. Okay, let me finish what I'm saying. We had a lot of maize, a lot of strategic maize, okay, which was saved up by the previous regime, because they were told, okay, by the meteorological department that we are seeing a drought in the next 3 to 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
These guys come in, they sell all the maize. In fact, Mr. Gonzalez, the Ambassador Gonzalez, the US ambassador to Zambia, said the same thing. You sell all your maize only to buy it back at 40% higher than the market value. Mm-hmm. Okay? And then you don't even collect that maize, but the money was spent. Am I going to blame the international?
No, but that is the rest of the world does not buy mealie meal, so you can't compare that.
Exactly, but
now take the fuel costs for example. Take living costs.
Yeah,
the living costs in the rest of the world are also terrible. It's not just here.
Yes.
So you could say any government is failing at that. Trump's imposed taxes are going to impact Zambia as well. We've been given, is it an 11% tax?
What is it that we even export to America?
I know, that was the raw minerals probably.
But
raw minerals are free.
We digress.
But yes.
We digress. Now,
But I think
these guys have stopped me from telling you exactly why they're going wrong. However, video.
No, you have.
But we're digressing.
You have good points.
Yes,
you have good points, Tanya, here. Okay, but look at it this way. I made a video explaining on how the fuel prices went up. Okay, even before the Russia-Ukraine war. Okay, the first thing President Hichilema did was remove fuel subsidies. That's already his problem. Okay. There were fuels.
But wasn't part of the IMF thing that he had to remove?
Oh no, he denied it. They denied to say it wasn't the IMF. His defense was to say, no, we had to remove subsidies so that we can channel that money to creating jobs in the civil service. Okay? But only to find out Reuters actually, on Reuters, the article says, oh no, actually it was, the subsidies were removed for farming, that means fertilizers, fuel, as well as, what else? Electricity. Okay? So that they can appease the IMF.
Correct.
Okay?
Yes.
But no. You see, that's the thing. We all know the IMF, when you're taking money from them, they've got all these crazy demands they have, okay? But our president told us, no, it's nothing to do with the IMF.
I mean, I get you. Look, there's a lot of things which you can say he is definitely wrong for. And then there'll be things that have been influenced as a result of something else.
Yes.
But it's easy to then put everything together and say HH has definitely fucked up everything.
Yeah.
And I think that's the problem. It's like, as long as you still can point the reason of this is this and this, and it has impacted him, I think that's a fairer way to look at it.
I'll give you, I could have gone that route. But here's one thing you must understand. I'm doing politics exactly as President Hakainde Hichilema did them.
Why?
On purpose. No, just to show you. It's a mirror effect. I'm literally trying to create myself using him. When he was in opposition, he had the tendency of saying, no, you can't use international problems as an excuse. That's what he called the PR. He made them look stupid, I tell you. The drought. He said, no, you can't use drought as an excuse for load shedding. We had a drought last year. Load shedding kicks in. Oh no, it's because of the drought. Excuse me, you told others that they cannot use that as an excuse. So I'm basically just playing his game at this point.
And it's biblical.
Hunger is biblical. Thank you. Imagine if you said that when you was in opposition. Would the Zambian people have voted?
We have one more story before we get the gist of this.
Jesus
We've got
Christ.
so many things to talk about. These two will never stop talking, and I'll tell you something. The presidency has got a crap media team, and because the president doesn't want to do anything about it, you need to go back to the Bemba proverb, Isabi nivolera kumutu. Yambiro koera kumutu.
True.
Once the head is not functioning, the body is useless. That's all. You cannot have in a period of 4 years incompetent ministers and their PSs and a few directors not working, not delivering, and you decide to only concentrate on firing people from Mweetwa province. 2 ministers have gone. 1 minister of a very useless ministry that does not tell us what happens, Minister of Information, and now Gary Combo. The reason why people are fighting and complaining is simply because the government does not know how to channel information. If there's a problem, address us, tell us the truth. 4 years, the presidency and the UPND have never come to apologize and say, look, we got it all wrong. There's been a shift in the dynamics of how commerce works.
Sure.
The economy of the world has affected us in this way and other. It has not happened. So, to both of you, I suggest move on to the next story.
I think you're right.
Yes.
You're very right. We could go on for days.
Definitely.
All right, the next story is about Brebna Changala. Governance expert Brebna Changala has called for President Hichilema to dissolve, it will please some people here, to dissolve the current cabinet and appoint a new one with fresh energy and determination. What it means is that people who will not sleep at work and people who know and are focused to do the work. This comes after the president warned ministers against sleeping during meetings, attributing their ineffectiveness to indulgence and lack of self-control. Speaking to a certain radio station, Mr. Changala has condemned ministers' behavior, saying it's unacceptable for them to sleep or be drunk during meetings. Madam, I'd like you to start with what happens in government in the UK when a minister is just late for a few meetings, how they behave.
It's an alcohol. But
But you forget the scandals in the UK when we used to have all the drug taking.
Yes.
So these things are there as well. You know, the way they handle their meetings, where they have their meetings, you go. There's bars that are near Westminster. They would have their meetings in there. They're all getting drunk. The drugs are in the toilets. It's there as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I think maybe they're just more clever. The secret filming, which we're now, the cybercrime is preventing here, you would have photos of the ministers, and that was the proof that would go in the papers, and then you embarrass the ministers to then resign. And I think that's the difference here. It's like, it's just accepted. Now go on, or whatever, like you just leave them as is. There's no consequences.
The difference here is that the moral fiber of the people who put in government, in positions of authority, is beyond, I don't know, acceptance.
And you know what's so crazy about this whole thing?
Mm-hmm.
This is an administration, when they were in opposition, they called former President Edgar Chagwa Chakolwa.
Jameson.
But when he came in, everyone called him a child.
Of course, but here's the thing.
That's whatever to do.
Yes, but here's the thing, okay? If you're going to call out somebody, you better not make the same mistakes they did.
Well, this is the thing, though. I mean, I
And-
think the realization is it's easy to criticize, but to be better than someone, that's where the
That's a
difficulty
problem.
is.
Hating
And
from
every
outside the
party,
box.
even the ones who are coming after UPND, same story. It's not going to change.
Sadly, yes. But right now, I, for one, am not looking through the mistakes of the people in the future. I'm looking at the mistakes of the people today. Because look at this. They told us, you know, what am a campaign? I'm a campaign. 2021. Oh no, our president doesn't even drink, he's sober. So us, let's have this sober man. And then he starts complaining about his friends being drunk in meetings.
But hold on, you guys.
Yeah.
This is why I told you we need to do the sauna thing. Why would you be saying these things and you have these guys in parliament and you're talking about morals, values, and ethics?
When you know you're surrounded by the same characters.
I know. I always
Because
say Zambians are hypocrites.
yeah, that's the thing. Because the thing is this.
This whole Christian nation, that's why I always say it's such bullshit. You're full of shit in that sense. Culture here and religion, you portray certain things, and then behind closed doors you're very different.
Yeah.
And it's not just the politicians.
Right. Very true. Very true. Now here is the thing. Okay. I think when you start, here is the issue. We know our current president, non-alcoholic. There's never been a story of him being drunk. That I can give him. He's not the type. Okay, you can tell when somebody likes to groove. Okay, he's not the type. You can tell. Okay, and I can.
Chabota. None was smooth criminal.
I think.
Why
Then there is a genius. There is very good at
what's like a strobe light?
That's not there.
There's a room for genius. Hey.
But meaning he's very smart for him to conceal that. Okay, he's very smart. Okay, but here's the thing. His people are not like him. Clearly, he has told us his people are not like him. So he's been surrounded by people who don't behave, act, or even believe in what he believes in.
Yeah, but now taking the party, you have to take everyone joins parties for their own reasons.
Yes.
He then is the president of the party, whatever, right? It doesn't mean you like the people that you have.
That's true.
70%, if not 90% of all the political parties, all of them should be removed because they're just career politicians. They're not genuine. They're not genuinely there for people, right? They're there for themselves. Now he has to work with the team he has. Therefore, if he doesn't like 70% of them, he just has to manage that process because he can't get rid of them.
But here's where what you've said is true, Tanya. But here's the thing, right? What do they say? Show me your friends.
Mm-hmm. But they're not his friends.
Yeah.
We're just in the party together.
Yeah, but look, you need to work with.
Show me your friends. Your church, I can tell you, 70% of the church is full of sinners
but
as
now
well.
here's the
So
thing.
what's the difference?
Let me show you here. Let me explain, right? The thing is this: you have to, when you are starting something of that nature, like guys, this is governance. You clearly know everything that will happen is going to be on your head. Okay? Rule number one of being a leader, everything is your fault. So the best you can do, at least in my perception.
I'm intrigued at how you apply all this status and pressure to HH, but apply the same pressure to ECL. And was it the same perspective?
No, I can give you with ECL. ECL never came out here and showed
I'm not
him.
saying that he did, but I'm saying it's much easier for you to put him down because he wants to maintain a certain characteristic. But ECL didn't want to maintain that. It doesn't mean that he shouldn't have had that characteristic as well.
No, I'm not defending ECL.
But what I'm saying is sometimes don't overemphasize HH's. He wants to appear as a good person, and you're trying to say, you're not that good. Come down a notch or two. And I'm saying, but if someone wants to appear that good, he can only stand on his moral ground. And the rest of the people around him are on theirs. So don't blame him for their lack of morals. They need to raise their morals.
Okay. Correct.
Was the president right to address that publicly, or you should have disciplined them?
Yeah, I'll come to that. Let me just answer what Tanya has brought up here. Okay. Here is the thing, Tanya. When you come in, you're a leader. Okay. We are your followers here. You are the example of everybody else. Okay, everybody else. Now, no, let me just finish.
Your own example.
I know, but let me finish.
And
okay?
it's not to follow him and emulate him.
Now,
it's to put your passion
course.
across as well. You could be better than him.
Exactly.
Don't follow him.
Now, here is where I'm alluding to. Okay, this is where I'm going, Tanya. When you are a leader, okay, you are an example to many people. Okay, in as much as you may say, no, you have to be your own follower. You have to. At the end of the day, in as much as we would want to be so independent to say I'm my own boss, we all follow a certain system. Okay?
I disagree.
You may disagree, but Tanya, you probably have a boss where you work.
But I don't follow them.
Of course, but
and I put my best foot forward to
That's true.
add value to them, not to be like them.
You
I don't
add
want to
value
be-
to them.
I don't want to be like my boss.
Under
I
their
don't want to
rules.
follow. No, you have to hold your boss
A company has
accountable
policies,
as well.
right? That you have to adhere to. Don't it?
We're going off topic.
This company you're talking about called UPND cannot. The flock can never tell the shepherd what's going on.
I
We
think-
need to eat the grass on this side. The shepherd says this is where we're going, and if you don't go with me, I'll sort you out. Period. That's what's going on. Okay.
So,
Yes. You wanted to counter.
no, you did, but you were going to answer this
Yeah.
question.
I was
I
going
wanted
to
to answer
Yeah,
the
can
question
answer my question,
of, you say, did he have to bring it out to the public?
Yes.
Well,
The president knows I've got ministers who have told behind the scenes not to do this, continuously trying to tell them to do stuff. Why can't you bloody just fire them the way you fired Gary?
you know, the thing is this, I found the way he handled that issue to me was a bit problematic. And the issue is this: how long have you been telling them? How long have you been tolerating them? Because he said it like, these guys, it's been a while, I've been telling them. Meaning they don't respect you. Think about it. I'm not going to, look, I'm a minister here. I'm not going to show up. I know very well we're going to have a meeting tomorrow morning with the president. And I show up drunk. He talks to me like, look, I didn't like the way you came in today. Just make sure you don't come like that again. And then I do it again. Meaning these people, they undermine your power in a way.
No, it also means it's a culture. It's like all companies have a culture.
Exactly.
And it is a culture
So
of
there are two things.
and politics.
You see, so there are two things. It's either one, your followers think you're weak, or two, it's normal there.
Correct.
Okay? So he should pick. Is it normal or they undermine you?
Look, what's going on? Like she alluded to, a lot of these political parties are crap. Okay. What's going on with the current regime was happening in the previous one, where the selection of ministers was just, he's got my back, she's got my back,
Correct.
regardless of
What
capacity.
20,000.
We promised each other the position.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what's going on now. Because
Exactly.
if you move for a certain number of years, your flock is complaining, dude, where you're taking us, there is no grass for us to chew. You need to start thinking, human, my advisors, whichever them do it becomes a problem because if you can't listen, if you are the cleverest person in the room, what happens?
Leave the room.
You need to leave the room. Secondly, if you call a meeting with your advisors and they're the one advising advisors, what's going to change?
What's the point?
There is absolutely no change. There is no difference between what PF was doing and what these guys are doing. The difference is Ukude is less staggering and more clandestine moves which are not helping the country. These other guys, they'll stagger and I'll do it. Whether you like it or not, I'll show you I'm doing it. You can't stop me. This gentleman we have right now has got people who we term the clever boys. He was campaigning with boys who are good on Twitter. You know what I mean? The guys would go do videos, campaign, do this. Oh, like, yes, this is what's going on. This is really good. They stepped 1 foot in ECL's shoes and it could not fit. We're not saying the shoe was right. But if he's failing to make any changes on his own, he needs to stop canning the ministers in public, fire them. In England, she talked about what happens. There were meetings in pubs and doing all that stuff. But guess what? One scandal, minister resigns. Moral grounds. There was a minister who resigned in parliament for being late for 5 minutes. Remember? His people were like, dude, come on. He was like, an MP was like, dude, my people have appointed me to represent them, to act on their behalf, and I'm letting them down. I have been here, I'm sorry, because the deliberations regarding this topic started before me. I was supposed to be on that chairing that committee at the beginning. I'm sorry, in light of this, I'm hereby tendering my resignation. Moral fiber, not desserts.
No, we don't have that. We don't have that.
Yeah, having said that, you need to wrap up so that you get into why we have the good, the bad, and the ugly.
No, I'm done.
I think if there's any other story we can get into it.
No.
There's nothing else. Then
There are many stories, but it's still going to come back to this issue. There's issues of CDF, there's issues of ZAMSA, it's all the same thing.
Yeah.
But in this matter relating to rating our ministers, the criteria used was the good, the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
So since there are 2 boys and 1 girl, she is the good, I'm the bad. I don't know. Which
Why do I have to be the ugly?
I'm in the middle. No.
What did we say? Scandal for the ugly. What did we say? Like scandal?
Yeah, I think it's
Like we said, like the really bad stuff.
The really.
Yeah. So not ugly because of what it looks like.
So let's do this. We can talk about. We can give an overview of. We can just mention the 3 that we have, and then we get into that.
No, I'm happy at the way that you did it because I don't remember my 3. Me, okay, so I do have a political weakness in terms of knowing specific people and what's happened in the landscape over the last 5 years. So I only really had 1 good, and we'd originally had this meeting before Gary got fired. So my good was Gary, but the basis of my good was, which you already said at the beginning, which was that I felt like he had a good dose of professionalism, belief in what he was doing. And, during the elections, he was actively showing
he was
the power that
he was the pillar.
He was given. Exactly. Like, I'm told to look after the elections, the counting, that's my job, and he did it. And for me, that was like, you've been given this role and you're doing it. And that for me was the
I know he did it very well.
Yeah.
We can't take that away from Gary.
Yeah.
I would even argue to say, if they had somebody weaker than Gary,
yeah,
they could have been finessed maybe.
100% agree with you.
But he was there like...
Yeah, because I was watching the elections at the time and I was like, who is this man? Where does he come from? I was away, so I didn't have the history. But yeah, totally, I agree with you.
So the both of you had Gary as the good.
Yeah, Gary. Good.
And who was your good?
My good was a woman. Me and women, we get along. Mothers, the people bring us to the world. My good was, what's her name? My good was a 59-year-old woman called Doreen Sefuka Mwamba.
You don't even know her.
Well, it says Doreen. I got the name from the... She's a Minister of Community Development and Social Services. I don't know if she's Doreen or Brenda. I think it's Doreen.
Anyway, what did she do?
She, I think, is trying to execute her duties in a very nice manner. She's dealing with a lot of issues regarding social services, that's social cash transfer, which was very scandalous under the PF, you know that. And she's dealing with all the issues regarding the abuse, the rapes and GBV and whatnot. And I think she's trying her very best to get into the communities through her various directorates to increase the awareness regarding the issue of how to protect the girl child and even the young boys, and just generally how to improve the households.
So you mean like she's actively acting on the ground? Like she's doing things from the ground level up, as opposed to fighting and making noise in Parliament?
She more or less, in my opinion, has behaved like Gary before you guys said he was watered down. Like, okay, something happens, he's on site. All right, this happens, she's on site. She is trying to execute herself, and I'm not saying that her department or ministry is any less than the other ones. But I think from a grading perspective, she's done quite well, much better than the Minister of Finance.
Are we done?
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yes.
Is that your bad?
That's my good.
No, the Minister of Finance.
No.
Yeah, preemptive strike.
Yeah.
You see, my bad, the Minister of Finance, unfortunately, cannot be put anywhere here. I'm failing to put him on the cool wall. I'm failing to put him on the bad wall. He's got a special place, It's like you go to hell, then the devil says,
it's you.
Hear it.
Come.
Then there's the guy, hey, just fight, yes. Do you have any spell? this is where this guy is going. You know what I mean? So
I think we went from bad to ugly as well.
There should have been a fourth tier.
Yeah, no. The fourth tier. Don't forget there is many more tier. They are special people. They are special people. The Speaker of the National Assembly.
Chanda.
Madam Speaker. I take that back. I take that back, Madam Speaker. So that was the good for me. The Minister of Ministry of Community Development. Very few scandals, whether it's because of lack of performance or not. But I think she's pushing her work in the right direction, and she's probably fighting for more financial support. And we're here to see she will be exposed in that regard. And also remember, she's a nominated member of parliament. She did not stand on any, yes. So the president saw her fit to be in his cabinet, and I think she's one of those people in cabinet acquitting herself very well. And as a woman, because the other person who's a woman nominated, we don't know what she does. I will not talk about her.
So we would safely say she's the ray of sunshine.
That's what you say. Yes, she's like she's cool.
Lighting on the dark clouds.
You know, she showed some compassion. Even the other week when there was that big scandal regarding the pastor and his wife who were molesting that kid. I mean, she showed some compassion.
Really sad.
She went to the side. She talked nicely. She broke down. My tears here. You know, mascara got burned, ruined. You know,
but you're saying it like
the powder was all messed up. But she did much better than the way Kasune said that thing in Parliament. You know, I think she's. We can agree unanimously.
But Kasune, she just went the other way. Okay, like, look, we get the point, but I'm sorry, saying, oh, you don't need to do this to the young girls. Like, yeah, you're right. And then she goes to say, we are here. I'm like, what?
Your size.
Your size. We are here.
I'm like, you were not supposed to put it out like that. But anyway, whatever.
So you guys, that's my good. Unless you have any comments regarding my
no, I don't think I can argue with her. I don't think I can argue with her. You know, she's not been on my radar. I think maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah,
you know,
I agree. Because you have gone out your arrow, huh?
Which way is the wind blowing?
Yeah, which way is the wind blowing? Yeah, but I think you know, maybe I will make a video. Positive video, because you know people have been asking me. We haven't seen you put out a positive video, and you know it's very difficult. You know, it's like walking in a garden of thorns and trying to find a very safe spot to step on, and that's what's been happening. I think I'll make her a video. She deserves a positive one. You know?
I think also one of the reasons she probably has been acquitting herself very well is that she's got a very good management team beneath her. I think her CEO, Angela Kaundami, as PS, I think she works well. She's got a very good base in which to give support to the policies that are supposed to be implemented through the minister. Because as you know, that's the policy head, and then the CEOs and the PSs and whatnot. I think the PSs and the directors have not been bad to her. So the work seems to be quite easy for them to execute. And like I said, it's not saying that their ministry is less important, because it's, you know, they have to give
at this point, especially
to everyone.
Yeah, with
free cash, you know, social safety net. Yeah.
We say free cash.
So we borrow it somewhere and then give it to them.
Yeah. So I think that's our good. What's our bad?
Your bad.
I don't have a bad.
No, she's got a bad. She's lying.
Which one was my bad?
She thinks because this minister was ignored by the president, he's bad.
Oh.
Okay. What's her bad?
Her bad is the Minister of Education, Douglas Yakale. Why is it bad?
I think, well, I was amused when HH was going through and handshaking and just bypassed him altogether.
Oh, yeah, that was cold.
Yes.
That was cold.
Yes. No, I liked it. I liked it very much.
I wish I could get
You liked him being ignored. But this is a guy behind the syllabus that is causing problems.
Yes.
So take it from there.
Yeah, so for me, that particular one, so my parents have started a school in Mansa, and they've got these teachers. Teachers have barely enough education to skill level to be able to implement this new syllabus that's been put in. And it's ridiculous. It's like so over engineered, so over the top. When you've got no resources, no money, no real skills to implement this, how do you really think this is going to be implemented? And it's like one of the issues that we have is like someone writes a document which they copied from somewhere else, some other country, and then they say now all the schools roll this out. It's like, how?
Mm-hmm.
So in short, you're saying they brought a new syllabus without knowing that the people that are meant to implement the syllabus,
they don't care.
They
You can't create a syllabus and not account for, so how much will it cost us to get this rolled out, to get the learning, the resources, the teachers then actively working this into place. Within 3 years, this will be part and parcel of how the system is now running, how teachers are teaching, There's none of that. They don't care. They've just written the document, released it to all the schools, and that's just the beginning. Because now the teachers have to understand, what the hell what does this even mean?
Because at this point, it feels like, when you say it like that, meaning the teachers themselves have to go back to school and learn that syllabus to come and implement it in schools.
Yeah.
And that hasn't happened.
But
No, there's no education afterwards. They were just
So
sent
the
a soft
implementation has
copy.
been really poor.
All the teachers are just given a soft copy, and then this is how you now have to teach.
So that's quite serious. It can fracture our
my dad
education
is
system.
an educator, did work in Zambia, then finished off before he retired in the UK. And he saw this document and he was like, how the hell are the schools, the local government schools supposed to implement a document like this?
Now imagine the community schools
Exactly.
in the sticks,
Exactly.
in the villages. It's
Exactly.
crazy.
So it's ridiculous.
You just opened my mind about that. That's something I haven't even looked into, to be honest.
I spoke to somebody about this, just to back up what she's saying. And the beauty about backing up Tanya when she's right is that...
Sorry, what?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. When she's not wrong.
Eh.
Is that I spoke to somebody who's in the private sector of the education industry or sector. It is. The guys in the private education setup are not happy with the same thing. So you can imagine, if they're not happy, how bad it is for the other side. The argument most of them have given is like the draft constitution, don't even bother, but like the draft constitution,
They're tempting.
there was no consultation when they came up with this thing. That's why her dad, as an educator, was like, maybe I'm reading it the wrong way,
100%.
So he flipped it,
Back
and it
front.
wasn't making sense.
Yeah.
I spoke to somebody, a few people, but one of them is in charge of one of the biggest schools in Osaka, as in one of the biggest private schools in Osaka. And they were like, this pamphlet is not making sense. And I quote, this pamphlet, it's not making sense. Yes. So for these guys to get up as a group and say, this is good. You see, when it works for you as a party, and I'm going back to the party thing, and you say we're going to do this and that and that, why can't you just simply consult? You want to change the syllabus? Yes. Okay, who else is interested? Who are the Tanya's bad word is stakeholders?
Oh my God, how I
Who are the stakeholders? Let us follow them, speak to them, consult. Just consult widely. Sometimes throw it out to the public as well. Guys, what do you think? You can do that via social media. You can do that via the hard print, the newspapers.
100%.
Yeah.
At this point, it feels like this is how the UPND does things.
Yeah.
Cyber crimes bill, they didn't consult. They just went and plucked it out from what DF was trying to implement and put it on him. Constitutional amendment, it's now constitutional, it's now Bill 10 Pro Max, because, that's what people are calling it now. Our president just came out and said, hey, we have all agreed to amend the constitution. Huh? What? So it appears like this is how they function. This is their formula. Just throw it out there. And then when they reject, we shall find ways on how we can maybe finesse it over their heads, Just throw it out there. There is no dialogue. They don't want people to come to listen, to hear, so that they can discuss. No. It's just put it there because we believe it's right, and we believe we are okay. We don't need any input from elsewhere. It's quite sad.
Yep. So we need to look at that issue regarding, being up to standard with what's happening out there. You don't want your kids not knowing things, but it's worse when the educators don't know what's
And
going
you know
on.
what's even worse? Like if you say that, when the educators don't understand the new syllabus because they don't have the skills, right? And they have not been educated and they were not even consulted in the first place. On top of that, this is free education. You now have an influx of children in classes. Okay, my brother's wife is a teacher, and she said, a classroom, 160 pupils. How is she supposed to teach all those kids? Because when you say free, you mean everybody now comes. We're not against free education, but how it was implemented, going back to what we're saying, they don't consult, they just do it. Okay, were we prepared to have free education? Were there enough classrooms, enough books, stationery, enough schools, enough all this? They didn't. They just came free education.
Who was telling the story about when HH was going around the schools and that they took the desks on a truck and then they went into the classrooms and they put all those desks. Was it you?
No, it wasn't me.
No.
I didn't know about that.
And then I told, okay, now he's going to the next school. All the desks went back onto
They were ferrying
to the
desks.
next school.
Oh my
It was a senior thing. The best ones. So
now imagine being a pupil. You sit on the desk just because the president is here. Then the president is going. Oh, now we have to have those desks back. But
at one they were having the Chhabota cooler moments, but they're talking, shaking hands with village people, the trucks are loaded. Book out. Next.
Wow.
Next school.
But people need to understand this, and I'll give you a very technical example. If you fly the Airbus A330 or the Airbus A340, you're a pilot, isn't it? You will not be able.
That's cool.
Yeah, you will not be able to go and fly the Boeing 777.
Right.
But you're a pilot.
Yes.
Do you know the difference? You need to read the manual. They will tell you you can fly this, but you will need to know how this one works. That is why they will tell you this person is not certified to
fly this specific place.
Yes, but he's a pilot.
Yes.
This person is a teacher. They can't implement these things because they don't know how the rollout is. So they will tell them 330 you can fly, 340 you can fly, but the new A350
has got different features and different. Okay.
Yes,
okay.
That is how it works. Conversely, the reason why Hardad and many professionals locally are complaining is because there is not enough time to learn how to do this.
Yeah.
So what they're saying is that they'll be making mistakes along the way. And
trial and error.
Exactly.
That's a terrible way of approaching things, especially when there are certain things you just can't really do trial and error. Education is one of them. And this is why I start to think, there's a book I read, I can't remember, but it said sometimes politicians will dumb the society down in order not to have resistance. The last thing you want is a very educated society because it gives hell to politicians. Okay, so I don't know, but yeah, he deserves a bad. What's his name again?
Douglas Siakaliba.
Yeah, he deserves a bad.
Coming to Chabota, his bad is the only bull remaining in Northwestern Province. Mr. Mweetwa, Minister of Lands. Former Minister of Health. Former Minister of Lands, now Minister of Health.
Minister of Health, yes.
Why is he your bad?
Why is my bad? The fact that we nearly sold 6 million hectares of land to a Vietnamese investor. Okay, to a Vietnamese investor. 6 million hectares of land. That's the size of Denmark. You people who've been to Europe. Okay? We nearly lost that land. Okay? And they said, oh no, he's bringing in $10 billion. Okay, 6 million hectares of land. Mind you, it's not just any land. It's located in one of the most fertile regions of the country with good rainfall patterns. This is the land we should be shifting our agricultural system to. Okay, it has water bodies, rivers and dams, rivers and lakes and whatnot. And others claim, pineapple minerals. What? And we are about to sell it? Somebody could easily create a country. Give me that land. I'll create a country. I'll have minerals. I'll have water bodies. I'll have agriculture. I could create Denmark in Zambia. And we nearly sold it to a Vietnamese who came out and said, I actually don't have the money. I'll have to go back home and then get a loan in order. You don't even have the money? So he was, look, the way I understand business, he might have, this is how it would have worked. If I was him, if I was crooked, okay, I would have gone as far as to say, okay, I don't have the money, but I will go and ask for land and say I will invest 10 billion. But I don't have the money. Then once these guys give me the land, I will go back home and say, oh yeah, I acquired some land, 6 million hectares of it. There's all these features, water, so on and so forth. We can set up serious farms, even a mine there. So I will use that as collateral to get that loan.
But even doing your due diligence as a country,
Yeah.
to allow someone to make promises like that to you without you having proof
Yeah,
that they can make that sale happen.
That's the thing. You know, we don't really know how he got to. He even got to the ZDA because ZDA had made sure there were meetings. The ministers came in. You know,
because it was covered a few times over a few, like 2 or 3 weeks or so, and then suddenly it was boom.
And I don't know if the chiefs were even consulted over that. And
Yeah.
it was crazy. So for me, I was like,
I think the chiefs were against the sale.
yeah. So to me, I was like, look, Babchima, I'm sorry. This is bad.
Yeah.
Okay?
But where's the key bit of embarrassment? Is it embarrassment? Because the sale didn't go through. So it was just... It's just
but it didn't
say,
go
a
through
faux
not
pas.
because they resisted or they refused, they turned down the investor down. No. It's when the public found out and were like, oh. So if this was hush, who knows?
Yeah.
Where would we would have lost 6 million hectares of our land.
So should he have been fired?
Yes, of course. Like if you're going to sell the size of Denmark, I don't know which country that is selling that kind of land anyway in the world. So yeah, he should have been fired. But guess what? He was moved.
Yeah.
Okay. In fact, I would argue to say he was given an upgrade. You know.
Here they are saying it was worth $72 billion.
72. I don't care what the price was.
Right. It's
Okay.
not even exactly.
I don't care. It's still 6 million hectares of
Yes.
land. That's too much.
Yeah.
Is your bad?
Huh? He's my bad.
It's not bad, eh?
He's my
bad.
Bad to the
But
bone.
you're not saying anything.
Pushing the story, I'm asking, should he have been fired? I'm like,
Yeah.
you know, like, let's show just how intense this is.
Jail.
No, I don't agree with it.
The jail? No, the jail is after if he made the sale, yeah, and then we found out, we dragged them to court, but
But this
He
is the
didn't
thing, like there's no shame even attached to him, right? It's just people just make fun of the story.
Yeah.
But we don't say that minister was entirely wrong. If that's how he's running, how he does business or how he does his politics, he needs to be removed. Because what else is he going to be doing? Now he's in which
health,
Yeah.
which is the more scary.
pharmaceuticals?
Yeah.
He's got access to those big contracts.
It's even more scary at this
That's
point.
exactly
Yeah.
it.
And that's why we're saying he should have been fired,
Yes.
not moved to another ministry. Like, come on, this is too big for
Get
me.
out of here!
Yeah, exactly.
Your minister as the bad one. Why was he chased when he went to his province?
Well, you see, he's member of parliament of Ikelengi, right? And okay, the reported story is the people chased him out of his constituency that he has a knack for only showing up when you are inching towards the elections. And he's been member of parliament of that constituency for 19 years now. He'll be 20 years next year.
That's crazy.
That's crazy. And people who've gone to Ikelengi have gone to say, yo,
And
that place is so underdeveloped. It is poor as you can think of. It's
Does
the
he drive a
state.
Hilux?
He pulled up with a convoy of
Ministers don't know.
I'm a GX.
A minister had a... Oh, well,
He pulled up with a convoy. I'm a GX. You know those V8s. The one President Hichilema says that when you just rev, 5 meters is gone. You know, it's crazy.
Minister with the highlights. Mumbana. Come on, Chanda. Can you please explain to her?
Hilux. Oh my god.
Oh, Hilux. How much it's
Hilux is the terrible
Land
car to
Cruiser,
drive
it's
over long
a Land
distance.
Cruiser, mind you. They are more pricier than the Hilux.
Oh my
They are not
god.
touch screen.
So the people were like, hey, you know what? You know what? We've had enough of you. It's been 2 decades now. We ain't seeing anything of intrinsic value that you've given us here. I think you might as well piss off. So I don't think he's gonna bounce back. But he says he's confident his constituency has his back. And I'm pretty sure he'll be running again. And he's in his 60s. And
67-year-old.
oh my goodness.
Elijah Mchima. The almighty Elijah Mchima says that that's his constituency and he is going to clearly bounce back. Now, Chabota, as your bad, what would you rather happen to this man?
Well, at this point, it's too late. You can't fire him. The time for firing him passed.
Not too late.
No, but look at it this way. Right now, it will just look awkward. Okay,
Like
why
with
did it
Garrett.
take you
Like
so
with Garrett.
So you're allowing him another 9 months of salary?
well, I don't know how look. I'm sure President Hichilema has got something for him. Okay, but you can't look. That scandal he put up. And then you fire him close to a year, because that was in August when that thing happened.
Yeah.
Okay, August. We're in April. Okay, that's a long time.
Aye.
People wanted to see heads roll at that time, not now. So I'm afraid you'll just have to stick with him. Or I don't know. If I were him, Ramchima would have been just member of parliament right now, not minister.
Not even outgoing member of parliament.
But yeah, I mean, 6 million hectares of land. Guys, this is a lot of land. Let's not take this lightly.
100%.
Huh? Hello, Tanya, nikumieni.
Allah?
Kulwa kulwa.
My princess. Your land. Your princess. Your land.
Otherwise, the bad for me it's by Elijah Mchima. I feel like that land issue, no, he didn't handle it very well. No one, in this day and age, no one is selling that kind of land. People used to sell land like that
Yeah.
during colonial rule.
That's right.
You can't go in the US and buy 6 million hectares of land.
That's right.
Whether you're a billionaire, Elon Musk can't buy 6 million hectares of land.
That's right.
So why did they think they could actually pull that off?
Mm.
Or in the name of
News.
no investment, 70, how much did you say? 75 billion?
72.
$72 billion. Elon Musk could afford that, but no one's going to allow him to buy that land. It's not about how much it is. It's just how do we know those people from Vietnam were going to come and create a country? Because they would have been, oh no, these guys are coming as investors. Then they'll start having children, and those children will be Zambians. Then 100 years from now, they'll scream for their independence. We've seen such.
It's our place.
It's our place.
We were born here.
The people who were born here.
Been here 100 years.
Exactly. Then now they want to create their own little
That's
new
the only place in
Vietnam.
Africa with Vietnamese people.
New Vietnam,
Yeah.
like
They can
you
do-
don't
yeah,
bring
yeah.
such problems on yourself. You have to be very ahead of everything.
The problem, current regime, past regime, and the other, is we tolerate incompetence.
Yeah.
We tolerate corruption. We just tolerate things that, whatever benefits the people, or let it, whatever benefits the party.
People power. Yeah.
Whatever benefits the party is what comes first. So anything that's coming in between the party and its success, there's a
Yeah,
problem.
and that's the problem. Political parties have this tendency of putting the party before the government. It's party first. The people in the party, are they happy?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are. Okay, now,
Yeah.
that's the problem.
Yeah.
Yes, now let's go to the government. But the political party, yourselves, you're not the ones who elected yourselves. So now we have a situation where the party is happy. Good for you. Are the people, the majority, happy? No, they are not.
They don't care.
We are about to go to elections.
Yeah.
So what do? The party can't vote for you to stay in power. Oh, constitutional
Now we
amendment.
must give chitenges and t-shirts. Yeah?
Constitutional amendment.
This
Oh,
one.
okay, that one.
That's where it's coming from.
Okay.
That's the thing.
We've tried every trick. You know, you roll the dice. It's not. Guys, let's use English here. Amendment. In fact, for me, the easiest way they can do that is just do a referendum. Tell people what it is.
But that's the thing. You know, they don't want a referendum.
Because then they'll be like, no.
You know why? Because the referendum will be like a mock exam. You know what they say about a mock exam is before the final exam? And your performance on your mock exam will determine your performance on the final exam. And a referendum for them right now would be them testing to see how angry we are with them. Because people...
The country is too volatile.
Exactly. Right now, the Zambians will just go vote no.
Exactly.
And people will be like, see, even the referendum you failed. So what makes you think you're going to bounce back in 2026?
Yeah.
So right now, I see them avoiding a referendum by all costs.
Yeah.
They'll find a way to just sneak it to parliament. So that since they've got the numbers in parliament and they could...
One of the problems that I think this country has is because we've gone from all these different political parties and people shifting from one party to another. There's no consistent party, you know, like the Conservatives, the Lib Dems, Labour, hundreds of years that's been going, right? Even the Americans, it's the same. But here it's like the minute you're out of power, your party will die. And so that's where the problem is. It's like, okay, we lost this time, but we can win the next election, or the next term, and then the term after. You have a bit of forward thinking. They don't have that here in terms of parties. That's why we have, by any means, we have to stay in power.
Yeah, and what you've said is true. Because when you think about it, you will discover this is why every time a new government comes in, it doesn't start from where the previous regime started. There are some projects right now, even in my constituency, which were started by Pierre. They are this close to being completed, but they've been left abandoned simply because the PF have happened.
Coming government in the eyes of the PF.
You know,
it was our
because
project.
the PF will claim, that was our project. So that person, that was our project.
And it's just the people who suffer.
Yeah, but that's the thing. They are putting ego ahead of the people.
Exactly.
Does it matter whether it was the PF that started it? All we should care is, hey, it's here, the people can benefit.
Exactly.
Guys, the problem I have is, in any society, you can't lead clever people.
No.
Clever people can't put you in power.
No.
So you need to make sure
Because they'll resist.
you need to make sure that your people are, holding on to straws, having a hope come figure. That is why we have these ministers, these MPs and whatnot. But let's try my bad. Bad enough of your bad in education, land scandal, or Mr. Whitehead Goatee, whatever you call him. My bad is very interesting because this bad is also a bad for him. My bad is a 61-year-old man called Ruben Mutowa Piri. You know him.
Yeah, I do.
Minister of Agriculture. My bad.
I mean,
Angela Chifire, former PF minister, I think,
yes, I think so, yeah.
Yeah, she was a minister at PF or PR for ZESCO at some point. She says, we seem to tolerate mediocrity in this country. So our minister, Mr. Mutowa of Agriculture, he came with a very, very good background, as you know. He was one of the pioneers of the Food Reserve Agency, and he's been in the agricultural sector for quite some time. He basically knows how it works. He knows
the system.
He knows how it works, regardless of who's in power. He knows how it works.
Yeah.
But this man,
in his own field,
if there's a guy who knows how to do proper own goals, it's this guy.
This guy scored an own goal.
Hey, several own goals.
So actually, I'm waiting with bated breath here.
Yeah, Chabota will tell us why he's a baddie.
Well, the thing is this, agriculture minister, look at where we are. Our staple food, 420, 400 kwacha, certain places.
Yeah, certain places.
Millennium, 25 kilos. This bag of millennium 3 years ago was at 120. It's now at 400. The cheaper version, the one from ZNS, is 230, somewhere there, which is still more. They say the cheaper version, which is still more expensive than what we had 3 years ago.
But even buying that one is
you difficult. You have to line up. People are lining up to buy that minimum. Okay, and all that comes down to one simple thing. They sold the maize last year.
So Zambia has got what's known as strategic reserves,
Yes.
held by the Food Reserve Agency. You call upon the reserves in the unlikely event of a drought. Now, over the past years when we've had a drought, you agree with me that we've never had more than 10,000 metric tons drawn to distribute wherever the drought is. That has never happened. We have had a drought, but before that drought happened, some decisions were made, and of course supported by the honorable member of, I forget, Chhabota Central, called Ruben Mtawapiri as Minister of Agriculture, to clearly, let's just sell.
Yeah.
So they sold.
But you can't just make a comment like that. So what was the real reasoning behind
Oh, I'll tell you the reason. The president himself actually told us the reason of why we had to sell the maize. Okay. He said the reason we sold the maize is it could have gone bad. Am I lying?
Are you serious?
He said the maize was going to go bad. There is video evidence. He said the maize would have gone bad. That's right before he said hunger is biblical. Okay? Yeah.
It's not my fault.
It sounds comedic. It sounds like something you would have on I don't know, Saturday Night Live, right? But it is true. Right? He said the maize would go bad. Because the maize had been in storage for like 3-4 years, and they said it would have gone bad. And then farmers came out and refused and said, President Hichilema, you're a farmer yourself. You know grain can stay up to 7 to 11 years. So that it would have gone bad is very...
Stretch.
It's not a very good enough excuse. Okay?
There's no way you could have sold the entire lot.
They
Even
sold
if you had
everything. Okay? And then, I don't know. And then...
But then how do you consider your own reserves? So now when you need, there was no backup plan?
No, here is the thing. There was no backup plan. Because if they did, they would have known. And might I remind you, they were warned before they did the selling. I remember the honorable member of, is it Nakonde? I've forgotten. He said, I think that was a few months ago in Parliament. He said, look, we warned the UPND administration. Don't sell the maize. The reason why PF kept it is because they were told that a drought is coming. And that means you will need it when there will be a drought. That's what you will need to eat. But they came in, sold it. Before they did, they were warned, but they still went ahead and sold it. And the excuse was, no, it would have gone bad, which is not enough. Then others, some other UPND supporters, came out to say, no, Forex, economic. But Forex, does that mean you have to sell what you need to eat for the sake of Forex? Doesn't make sense. Shouldn't you be going to plant more?
How much did they make from the sale?
Yeah, that's the thing. We don't know how much was made. Look, maybe I don't know. Maybe I didn't do research. Maybe somebody out there knows. How much did we sell the maize? And of that money that we made in selling that maize, did we see it in the treasury? Because if it was in the treasury, we would have come out. They would have come out and say, "Oh no, so much and so much was received," but nothing. And
so where are we in terms of if we do have a drought? If we had a drought tomorrow, where are we in terms of?
We're in the drought right now.
No, but in needing the reserves.
Okay.
The
There is
reserves
no
that were sold.
What's reserve?
No, we are counting on the harvest we will take from this season.
They'll start to build the reserves again.
We don't know if they'll do that because right now they would have to flood the market to bring that price down. The reason the price of millet meal is like that is because we sold everything that we had in our strategic maize, and then that drove demand up because there's not enough. So that drove the prices up. So now what has to happen?
Sign language.
Yeah. So now what needs to happen is that they have to drive the prices down. And how will they do that? They'll have to flood the market.
Yes.
So with what maize? The maize will be harvesting this year. And hopefully, I hope we will have a bumper harvest because we had some good rains.
Okay, back to our minister.
What's
Let's
good
go back
rain?
to our minister.
Our
At
minister.
least it was better than the previous.
So listen to some of the things that have been pronounced about this situation. Eugene Mulenga, National Coordinator for Sustainable Resource Empowerment Initiative, said Zambia was in a food crisis because Mr. Piri has failed to manage the country's strategic food reserves when he allowed the export of maize grain to neighboring countries. That was 2 years ago, actually, April 2023.
Right.
He is not doing too good. And then also, these guys, that was April 2023. But before that, and I know he's going to jump onto this, there was a report that Mr. Mutolo Piri has exhibited from the onset incompetence in the management of the agricultural food sector. Okay? I won't add what else was added about the minister, but it was clearly combined with the plans for the president, but that's not what we're discussing.
Yeah.
What is of a concern regarding his behavior and his the way he does his work is that they made pronouncements that government will supply maize to millers to control the rise in milling meal prices. That was the agriculture minister.
Oh, wait, can you repeat that?
Government will supply maize to millers to control rise of milling meal prices. Agriculture minister.
Which they're getting from where?
So where is that maize coming from?
2023. This is 2023.
Oh, this is 2023.
Yes.
Little did they know 2024 was going to be crazy for them.
Now, here's the situation. In a normal working environment, you do not get maize from the reserves to give the millers to process to make it cheaper. It simply means that all the work the miller has to do in order to procure that maize, he's going to wait for you to get it for him. All the maize they're getting from Mikeleng, from Vubwi, from what, you bring it. They simply walk in and say, if you don't give us a maize, we won't mail anything. You know we went through this. We are not going to mail anything. He sat down, decided, give the millers. The price did not come down.
Yeah, it won't drop.
It did not come down because if I buy cheap maize there, I'm going to maximize on my profit.
Of course, because here's the thing, and this is where I doubt the economics of the UPND administration. Because look at it, even I have a small piece of land. I grew a lot of maize. I'm not going to sell it in order to try and drive the prices of the milling meal down. I will sell it at the market value.
Yes.
Okay? To earn a profit. Why? Because you guys basically set up the price. So why would I come and undersell myself? I will not do that. Okay? And all this could have been avoided had we not sold our strategic maize. Because we would have not had, would have not had, what's this word? Would have not had scarcity. We wouldn't have been scared. It would have been, the market would be flooded right now. But they themselves caused demand by selling some of it. And then the ambassador, Mr. Michael Gonzalez, ambassador of America to Zambia. Yesterday, he came out to say, look, you went through a drought and you said that you need help. We gave you some money to feed your people during the drought. You took that money, went to buy the very grain you sold. You went to buy it 40% higher.
The price.
The price tag.
Now you're just irritating me.
Yes, I know. He said,
No, you mean the minister is irritated.
No, hearing the story of
remember, look, Tanya, we sold the maize for cheap. For cheap. We sold it.
No, it is pure incompetence.
Yes, only to come and buy it at 40%.
Who does business like that? You'll be out of business in no time. So why do you deserve to still be in power if that's how you're operating?
And now, that's not even the worst part, okay? So we buy our own maize that we sold for cheap. We come to rebuy it at 40% above the market price. And guess what? Not all that maize has even come by. It has been received. We're still waiting For all we know, Tanzania is waiting for this season to harvest and give us what they will harvest. And that's what I think will happen. So now, what happened to the money?
My problem has been, and the buck stops with the head of state. You can't reshuffle people just because they've done bad in one ministry. You think they'll do well there.
Yeah.
A leopard will still be a leopard. Even when you relocate it from Kafue National Park to Louis National Park, that one, the Louis Plains in Western Province, it will still be a bloody leopard. It won't say, I colonize and I'll be vegetarian. Hell no.
It will still look for...
Yes. So the very fact that you want to come on radio, TV, and whatever platform and say, brothers and sisters are sleeping, it means they are not working, they're incompetent. It is never too late to just, show people that, look, I can change things. Because maybe in the last year of your presidency is when you perform and people like you. They reclaim your, your capacity, your capability to work and say, okay, well, we can do some
Referring
stuff.
to the president or the minister?
No, I'm talking about the head of state. Because then he can change things. But if you are going to reshuffle people, it's not working.
No, reshuffling, no.
It does not work.
I mean, I think you're better off to fire and put someone in.
Yes.
That's what we all expected.
Yeah.
But and then what's the what's my after I don't want to mention my ugly yet.
The ugly.
You're ugly.
We're about to go into ugly.
We're about to go into ugly.
It's you ugly. Okay, let me look.
Yeah, fine. Because the switching.
Okay. It's myself.
You said it. Yeah. You know what? Let's go to Masao, then we'll come in.
Go back to
Babuchi Masao out there. Because that's where the reshuffle happened.
Oh, yes. Okay. Yes.
So anyways, he's my bad. And also because he is the minister in charge of agriculture now. And he has not shown much to fight the UPOV demands.
No.
UPOV is demanding certain controls over our own seed. And from his perspective, he wants to do that. But he forgets that primarily the subsistence farmer in Zambia is the one that grows the bulk of the crop.
Yeah.
The commercial farmers, there are few, and they grow quite
In fact,
much.
commercial farmers buy from the subsistence farmers.
Yes. Then they upgrade that maize to commercial maize when actually, who
We all know they just change the bag basically.
They've decided as minister in charge is taken over the same mantle of maize being a political crop. So we'll manage it as politicians instead of making sure that, look, in as much as this is a political crop, it won't give us as much money as we can get from cotton, the money we can get from soya beans, because around here, there are a lot of countries which can buy the other crops, and we don't do that. There's a lot of demand for cotton seed and cotton cake and cotton flour from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, as well as cassava right now.
Yes.
Cassava is on demand.
There's quite a bit, but what I've noticed about this minister is that he just went and changed the VX that he drives. That's all. From the one owned by the Ministry of Health to the one owned by the new minister. Yes! Because look, when you go to a ministry, the truth is, when you go to a ministry, when you move into a new house, there must be some sort of change that is seen.
Yeah.
You make a change and I'm a minister, he's doing this, he's doing that. There's nothing that this minister has done. A lot of people have called for him to be culled. He has not been touched. So, in the eyes of the party, he is doing very good. That is the only reason he's there as minister. He's doing very well.
Going back to what we said.
Yes.
They will rather impress themselves amongst themselves, a small group.
Why is he there?
Thomas Sankara. It's either we have champagne for a few or clean water for everybody.
Yes.
But Thomas Sankara understood that we need clean water for everybody.
That's why the bloody shopping.
They want the champagne.
Actually, Marie Antoinette, same thing. Feed them cake or something.
Let them eat cake.
Yes. These are small things. Zambia, we're not shit. But yeah, I believe that I don't need to give a person appointed by the public, chosen to power by the public, to continue leading if he has failed to deliver on his promises. So, through his promises as the party, I'll give you competent people. Remember what I was saying? I'm choosing people based on competence.
Yes.
There is no competence in 90%, 95% of his
How
ministries.
does he define his competence?
That's the thing. But you see, now this is why I miss late President Michael.
Okay. Him, yes.
You know why? Even like a small rumor, and then he finds out how many people did he find? Like a small rumor, and then when he does an investigation, he finds it's true. You're fired.
Yeah.
He used to just fire people anyhow.
Rogers Mweetwa.
Fire.
Rogers Mweetwa was fired. Chibota was fired.
Yes.
Kaiser Zulu was fired.
Many.
Just I don't want nonsense out.
You're fired.
When Edgar Lungu came into power, those are the first people he reappointed. Wallahi. Ask him.
Big mistake.
Yes, there should always be a reason why has this person been fired.
Mm.
You know, when you reappoint somebody into government, it simply means that their time was done, but they can give you good work in a new dispensation. For instance, when they reappointed Lord Cameron, come and help us with foreign policy and whatnot. It was a short space of time, but it was not coming from a position where he was fired. He resigned after losing a referendum. You see what I mean? Morals. He left about, okay, I can help. He knew the current prime minister is in problems. Let me see if I can help him. But he lost the election at the end of the day. With us, who is backing me up in the party? What constituency are you going to deliver for me?
Yeah.
I will deliver this for you. Give me the resources. Thereafter, how I behave, boss, me, I delivered this for you.
Yeah.
So chill.
So that thing you told me, I can have. Now you have to also then
Yes.
pay back.
Yes.
And this is the sad part about. I don't know how other countries behave. I won't look into that.
Better than us.
In Zambia,
It's
very
which
true.
country?
In Zambia, the fact that everything is about favors.
Yes.
But in as much as you are doing, okay, I say, Tanya, listen, I have a political party. We need money, okay, to do A, B, C, D. Help me out. And then you give me, okay, I'll give you $1 million for your campaign. I take that $1 million. I do my campaign, I win. And then what happens is that now, since I'm indebted to you, I start using my public, not mine, I start using public resources to pay you. What I should be doing is that, okay, now I'm in the position, I'm in the position of power. What am I earning from this? To pay you back. But they don't do that. They reroute. Like, oh no, I for one, the money I'll make when I'm here, it's all mine. But what we're going to do, we're going to use public resources to pay you. Whatever. And this has been the culture of Zambian, or let's say African politics, because I know this happens everywhere. And we are always holding ourselves in state capture for some reason. Or you even wonder, why didn't the government just make this decision? Oh no, there's somebody who's interested in that. Who's capitalizing or making money off this chaos? Oh no, we can deal. There's a backdoor deal. There's always a backdoor deal. That's why we can't go
The
in.
whole cobalt situation, for me, there's something going there that we don't know.
Yeah, of course, we will never know, but we all know. Because from outside, we'll just look at it, okay, this is logical. This is the route the government should have taken. Why didn't they? It's not like they're dumb, they didn't think about it. And this is what I always tell people. Governments have the smartest, the best people, cream of the crop, usually as advisors. But what happens is their interests. It's not like they didn't know if we sell all this electricity, we'll cause a deficit in our country, and then we'll have. They knew.
I know.
They knew.
It's
You know?
the what's the word I'm after? Not retribution. What's the word I'm after? The outcomes afterwards. Consequences. You know, it's like the consequences are not enough. They're not painful enough. So they can risk that, even if it's a bit of bad media that they'll have for a little bit. People will talk, it will be forgotten, they still got the money in the pocket.
And that's the sad.
They still have put their money in Swiss bank accounts. You know?
Anyway, our minister, one day about the bad, never Minister of Agriculture, and I don't think there's anything he's going to do now to change anything because he's appointing authorities happy with how it works.
Of course they will be happy.
The way our country operates.
But this isn't about that. This is our perception.
No.
So we're highlighting why we think that this is not
exactly.
right. Yes.
We're highlighting why he should not even be in office.
Yes.
He should have left office the minute he realized we made a mistake, or when there was consensus about, from cabinet perspective, about selling that product. He should have stepped down and said, guys, I know the consequences of this. Because it's not everything that they've picked up from PF that was bad. The warnings, even from non-PF people, were all over the place. There will be a drought, there will be this, there will be this, there will be that. Now you're saying we have electricity, so that's why my ugliest minister is coming. Because others are benefiting from our drought.
So you're kicking off the ugly.
Oh, hell no. That man is super ugly.
No, let's get to the ugly.
The ugly. I don't know why we have the Lusaka province minister on your thing as ugly. Who was your ugly?
I don't remember.
Who was it?
I don't know how ugly. Here, we've got Lusaka province minister.
I don't remember.
Maybe it's because you don't know her at all.
No, I don't
You
remember.
didn't write down what the points were.
I don't have my laptop.
Maybe that's ugly, right?
Yeah.
Maybe we should skip to mine.
Go for it.
No. We don't want you ugly. We want
I
you
don't
ugly.
know my ugly.
We've given you
They're
minister.
so bad.
No, we're giving you the minister of finance.
Is that ugly?
Yeah.
We deliberated between two, didn't we? Anyway, Minister of
That's your
Finance.
ugly. That's your ugly. With his new monopoly money, that's your ugly. So tell us about your ugly.
No, I don't know anything about him.
Sokotwani.
Yeah, no, you wanted an extra ugly, so I got to settle with that ugly.
Okay.
You had too many.
Let's start with your ugly.
Let's start, with mine.
Chabota's ugly is drum roll. You know, Nate, there's a drum roll button on that thing. Huh? You could look at grrr. Ish, the Honorable Member of Parliament for Chongwe.
Madam Sylvia Masebo.
Madam Sylvia Masebo.
And
Current Minister of Lands, immediate past Minister of Health.
and you know what's so crazy? I used to be a fan of this woman back in like 2007. When I was in grade 7.
Oh, you're like a fan or attracted?
No, not like that. Not like that. I was too young for that. Social studies, homework. I used to always watch the news just to understand, social studies. And Mama Samo always resonated to me. Maybe I had a crush, when you're a kid. I do not
Secretly,
know. I do
she's
not
so good.
Madam,
But only
it's not too
because these days now, she look, she disappoints me. Okay?
Madam Minister, it's not too late. But why, Japan?
Jonathan's DMs are
Please,
open
can
up.
you hold his hands? Hold him and walk with him.
Let me just have a sip of this drink,
Oh gosh.
Yeah.
God bless her. Hey. So she's let you down.
She's let me down. More than you can imagine. I am heartbroken right now. Okay? Look, the scandal that she was in last year to do with the meds,
Yes.
the medicines, worth what, 23 million?
Give a little bit more detail. So what happened?
So she was caught up in a scandal to say that $23 million worth of drugs or medicines that were supposed to be distributed around the country, or the health institutions or government hospitals, right? They were packed in containers on, people say, the private property.
Yes.
So now we were wondering, why would somebody stockpile medicine on a private property? That's
And how much? How much was
It was worth $23 million.
61 containers.
$23 million
$23 million.
in someone's private lot.
A private company.
Private
somewhere.
house.
Somewhere.
No, private company. Somewhere.
So
Not a house.
A lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? And then
We should
heard
say,
that
we should say undesignated
yes.
place.
And only to, I don't know how long it stayed there, only for it to expire. Because they said we couldn't even take, at least we could have said, hey, look, this is wrong, we're taking it to distribute it in the hospitals. Only to hear, no, the medicine wasn't any good for use.
So who discovered this medicine?
Here's the thing. I don't know who discovered it, okay, but we all know there are whistleblowers. There's always somebody knowing. If you move something that big, you can't do it by yourself. Somebody is going to definitely snitch on you. So when that happened, it was really huge. Then you're like, people are complaining that in hospitals there is no medicines right now, and you had it stashed somewhere, right?
Yes.
People were complaining. Tamuri meeting.
No, there was a very big outcry about the lack of medicine for a few months, actually.
Exactly.
Yes.
Only to find out that she stashed it somewhere. And then now you're thinking to yourself, medicine when more hospital tamuri imiti. And then that medicine, $23 million worth of it, goes to waste. People could have used that. And then I thought, okay, she's definitely getting fired. This is too big. No, we are moving at the Ministry of Lands. What is going
How long
on?
after the whole thing broke was she moved?
It was just is it a few weeks or a week?
Nah.
It wasn't really a long time.
No, it took some time for her to.
Did it?
Yeah, it did.
It did, eh? Maybe I lost my time.
Because she was moved this year, isn't it?
No.
To Minister of Land.
No.
When was she moved?
It was last year.
Last year.
It was last year.
Okay.
And now, after they moved her,
Last year.
they swapped them with Ramchima.
Was it an actual swap?
Yeah. It was.
It was like you sit there.
Yes.
Both of you fucked up.
Yes. And then, all these scandals happened. It was a short time.
In a short space of time.
After they Babachita swap, like in Juga, then they start now calling each other out. Okay? Bamuchima goes to health and she says, no, I'm trying to fix the Ministry of Health. It's in a mess.
I thought I was coming to relax.
Thank you. I thought I was coming to relax. I don't know why you would even think you were going to relax. Why are you to relax? I don't know why you would say that. So he said, I thought I was coming to the Ministry of Health to relax. But it's in a mess. I have to, clean it up.
I actually have to work.
No, the relax was Masero said it.
It's Masero said it.
Masero was one who said I was coming to the Ministry of Lands.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was easy here. I was coming to relax.
I was talking about the switch in Kwati Njuka. Where they swapped Mchima and
Sylvie,
Masero.
your crush.
She wasn't my crush, come on. So the thing is, one of them said, I thought I came to relax here, but I discovered this ministry is
Sylvia Masero said that about the Ministry of Lands.
Ministry of Lands.
Yes.
And then she said she found the Ministry of Lands in a mess. So now she has to work. And then Ramuchima also said, I found the Ministry of Health in a mess. So it's like they were basically snitching on each other. Basically calling out their incompetence.
Now imagine all the other ministries.
And that's the problem. So you know what? Maybe we will know how bad the other ministries are if we start shuffling those two also.
Exactly.
About energy to what agriculture. Then
Yeah, he went to fisheries.
He was at fisheries. The one at energy was the one at fisheries. No.
He was our
The man at energy now was at fisheries.
Oh, were they swapped?
I don't know why they took the other guy.
Wakapala.
I don't know what Kapala is.
Oh, he was Minister of Energy.
Yeah, then they swapped them. Because the Minister of Energy now was at fisheries.
Okay, maybe he was just doing a swapping thing.
Well, yeah, maybe he believes they switch and bait, or I don't know, whatever. But the thing is this, it's quite sad. And recently, I don't know, I saw a video. I don't know, Katuishi, if it's a PS or whatever. They were fighting over land or something. Beka Futi, all coming from the same party. I don't know, there was some land dispute. And I'm thinking to myself, Ministry of Lands is a very sensitive.
Yes.
We're dealing with the country's
main assets.
Land.
Yeah, land, the stones.
We cannot have people playing around.
Underneath it.
Of course, right? Because land is not just if you can sit a project on top of that. Like you say, minerals and everything. First, lands and mining went together hand in hand. And giving her a position like that, in fact, she had an upgrade. What do you think is more important in a country? Land or Ministry of Land or Health? It's a very different land.
I would sooner be Ministry of Land.
Ministry, me too. I was going for lands as well. So she messes up at Ministry of Health, and instead of
Gets a
firing
better
her,
job.
you know what I'll
Let
do?
me upgrade you.
Let me upgrade you. I'll give you a promotion.
Let me be the devil's advocate.
Um,
Do you think the First Citizen shuffled her out of pressure or because she could not do the job at the Ministry of Health?
What does that mean? She could
What do
do
you mean
this
she
job.
couldn't do the job? He didn't know she couldn't do the job?
If she can't do
Look,
that,
this is
job, how did she do this
Mamasebo.
one?
How long has Mamasebo been doing politics?
Ms. Masewa has been in all the last governments.
See, and that's what
MD,
really
PF,
angers me.
UPND.
She doing something right.
She's good. She's good. Not real good. You know what I mean?
Doing something
She
right.
good. Yeah. She got some
I'm not
skills.
going to be part of this one.
No, she do something good.
She doing
But here's the
something
thing,
right.
right?
Even Nate knows that.
But you know, that's the thing, right? Like, you can't be, like you say, career politicians. I expect you to be a professional at this now. The fact that you've been doing it for a long time.
Exactly.
A person like me put in there and make a mistake, you would understand. Okay? Still learning the ropes. Maybe he was gullible, still an inexperienced. But Mama Sebo has been in government. I checked her profile. I think she started, is it in the 90s? Mid-90s, she was, smaller. I think, I don't not councillor, but she had these small positions and she worked her way up. You've been in this game my age. And how is it that I'm 31? Come on, right? I should expect you to be,
Yeah, old. That's it.
you're,
Let's say you're
Well,
old.
that's not
I'm more than.
Let's
Just
say
making
you're old.
yourself feel good.
I'm old.
So I was expecting her to be like, she should be. In fact, I would argue to say she's the most experienced amongst everyone. Fumisha kofe ba Msokotwane and minister.
No, Sokotwane was not a minister.
He was not a minister, yeah.
So she's more experienced than
She's more
everyone.
experienced. Thank you. Oh, Nani, the one who's from MMD, the Minister of Science and Technologies. What's his name?
Was he a minister in PF? Yes.
Nani, his name.
Felix.
Felix Mutati.
Yeah.
He was a minister, wasn't he?
Was he a minister in UMD?
I think he was. Yes. Mutati, he's been in politics he's been in the game for so long. So you have all these characters. What does that man even do anyway? But we have
Remember, he was also on the list.
exactly. So we have all these guys who've been in the game for so long. We don't expect you to be making silly mistakes.
Yes.
Okay? Maybe that's the thing, okay? President Ichileman is like, okay, look, you've been in the game for so long, so I expect you to be to know this.
Political compromise,
yeah, exactly.
nothing to do with the game or skill.
But I'm trying to be President Ichileman. I'm trying to be on his side, maybe trying to fit in his shoes.
Why?
Maybe he thought, Bama Sebo, you've been in this game. I think on the crop of people I have, you're the best pick.
I don't even
So
think
you should. But
I think going back to the reason for our bad list is you should not be promoted for having fucked up in your last job,
that's true.
right? And so that's why they are in that category. So what's our next category?
Ugly. I've said my ugly.
Even if you don't like that, I'm the last one to bring up
Just
this
clap
topic.
for me.
You can just clap for me. At least.
At least clap for
At
me.
least.
Yeah.
My minister of my choice for ugly is Minister. I've lost the damn thing, man. Where are you? Oh, there you go. Mr. Makozo Chikote. Minister of. He's a minister of energy. He's a young man. He's a member of parliament for Luampa. And he is.
I like how much despair Chabota
Yes,
had.
I
It's
mean,
like-
let's give him credit. He's the honorable member of parliament for Luampa.
Anyway, what has he done?
He's 51 years old.
Uh-huh.
And he's been the man charged with. Now, this is what you call a promotion. This is a promotion.
Mm-hmm.
You are the Minister of Fisheries.
Promoted.
No. He was Minister of Fisheries, Livestock, and what? Rivers. I don't know.
I think
Let's
let's just keep
yeah.
it like that.
Yeah, but he was promoted to the Minister of
Energy,
Energy.
which is an upgrade.
The heartbeat of
At a
any
very
nation.
difficult time, though.
Yes,
Mm.
he was appointed Minister of Energy when things.
What skills do these people even have?
This man
What
is
do you
very
even
skillful.
know about the energy industry to come into these jobs?
He has got, I don't know what BA degree he has, but he also has a certificate in diplomatic protocols and public relations.
A certificate.
Diploma. Yeah? Certificate in diplomatic relations. But he's got a BA degree from university. I don't know what it is.
Anyway.
The parliamentary website did not give you enough information. He just has a degree. But I find him to be the worst of the lot. Because one, I don't see how he's failed to engage with the people in terms of the power deficit we're having. I also find that he's complicit with the head of state not the head of state, with ZESCO in the way they've been mismanaging the energy sector. ZESCO will say this, he will say the other. They are not moving in one.
Can you give me an example?
Of what?
Let me give you
one
the
example?
example. There was a time, I don't know if he said it, but there was a time, the people, what is that? I had it on the top of my head. It's just gone. The people in charge of the Kariba Dam.
Zambezi River Authority.
Zambezi River Authority. They said, oh, water levels have been rising due to the good rainfall we had. And then somebody from his ministry said, no, they have not. So we were like, what is going on? It's like Zambezi River Authority are saying, oh,
Suspects.
and you know the thing is this, when Zambezi River Authority said water levels have risen, people are like, oh, the load shedding is going to be a thing of the past. Then they quickly came out, no, that's a lie.
Exactly.
It's not it.
Yeah.
So that we can continue being in load shedding. Because after the rains, everybody's asking, why are we still having load shedding?
Exactly.
You guys told us it's because of drought.
Exactly.
We had some
Drought,
good rain. And now Zimbabwe just announced that they have electricity now.
Because we're still exporting more than we have.
Exactly, but you see, they don't talk about it like that. They say, to them, it's still drought. It's nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, if you take a leaf at how the Minister of Electricity in South Africa and his team work, they realized over the last 5 years, they had messed up the management of the electricity energy sector in the country by ESCOM. So they decided to be more truthful to the people. The people are already angry. And that could be reflected in how the ANC fared in the elections.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they are still the party majority, but they don't have the majority in parliament anymore.
Yes.
Okay, but they're still, they're in charge.
It's still like
basically.
40%,
Yeah, close to that. But they lost a significant number of votes. So that system those guys decided, we are going to listen to what the people are saying. The complaints are too many. We are going to assign a particular person to manage this thing honestly. So what this minister does is, he'll call his boys, his people, and say, guys, where are we today regarding this and that? They'll tell him what's going on. Then he says, I am going out to address the nation. So what you tell me better be the truth. I will not claw this back because we're playing with people's lives here. We're playing with the economy. We're playing with how we're going to go forward as a government as well. When we lose it, we're done. So this man, upon his appointment, there was laughter. How can you appoint somebody?
Energy.
Electricity.
Minister of Electricity.
Yeah. So I was like, wait a minute. In England, they've got special ministries. You know that, huh? They've got a minister, leveling up minister. They've got funny positions which you think are useless, but you know what? They count for a lot. Those guys go out, make pronouncements which are exactly as it is on the ground. Like I was saying off camera, when the guy says there'll be load shedding next week from this day to that day, they stick to it. No one is caught off guard. If Tanya has to call Vaselina to come and iron, she will come and iron because there will be power then. There's nothing like, oh, Vaselina, as soon as you left power again. No. Oh, Lord. So anyways, we're going to continue even if that thing's bad off. So this minister has been clearly misinforming the people with ZESCO. And I think there was no synergy between the ZESCO management, the board, and him as a ministry. It was just not working out at all. So I think if you can't tell people exactly how your energy is working, you've got a problem. Two, if you can't tell people exactly how your power in relation to, how your petrol, your diesel, your fuel is actually being managed, there's a problem. We already have a problem with agrofuel. He has not come out, the ministry, the government have not come out to tell us the truth.
What is going on?
Exactly, what is going on? Why do we have expensive fuel? Just tell us the truth. We'll know how to manage it thereafter. So among the many reasons, I think, to cut the long story short, in Zambian speak, I think a lot of our economy revolves around how this ministry is managed or mismanaged. And I think the head of state has got the wrong person in charge. If not, then the whole policy structure of the UPND regarding energy is absolutely wrong. There is no way that you can say we're going to have a drought and you can't manage it. You're going to say we have a drought, quite all right, you're exporting electricity. You explain things to people, they'll back you up. Right now, people are dissatisfied because the person in charge of the energy sector is not doing things according to how we expect them to be done. We've had no serious apology for this guy. He expects us to bend for him, do backflips for him and say, thank you, my minister, for giving us 3 hours. Meanwhile, the guys...
Actually, that's what he said. You should be thanking me.
Yeah.
You remember?
Yes. We have
to congratulate him for giving us 3 hours of electricity.
Yeah, and remember your argument was that in that auditorium or whatever place they were talking from, there was no one from the industry, any industry, to come and argue or say, look, dude, don't tell us you're giving us 4 hours.
Patronize us.
Yes.
We run businesses that must be even running 24 hours.
Yes.
And you want to give me 3. Finish it.
And then you want me to clap for you.
To clap for you for the
giving me 3 hours.
You're about to put me out of business. As a minister, you are incompetent.
Yes.
You should be out.
The young man, Mwalamoto, what did he say?
Yeah.
He says, I'm shutting down this farm.
Exactly.
I can't continue.
Our friend, one of our guests here, says she's spending over 200 grand on fuel to make sure that her poultry, our birds are okay.
She can't compete with other countries because her energy prices are too high. Yes. So Egypt is the one getting her contracts, and she doesn't get them.
Inquiries have been made. Can we get this from you? But capacity has been it's not there at all because
woefully low.
There is no electricity. Once the energy is messed up, it's a trickle effect.
And this is the irritation because we're talking about small stories here. There must be big stories. What is the impact to people like Zambi who do run 24-hour businesses? Yeah. Why are they not talking and telling us the impact?
And that's the problem, like look at Parmalat. Parmalat, Zambia. Yeah. They had to shut down their factories in Zambia.
Yes.
And now they said
it's no longer sustainable for us to run a business here.
We will just produce our products in South Africa then.
Yes. Ship.
That's exporting labor.
Exactly.
We're paying for our labor then.
Yes.
Now their products will go up.
Of course.
In price. And then our Zambian people working for Parmalat just lost their job.
Exactly. And our food costs have gone up.
Exactly. Because when you look at it, once these two things are fixed, okay, when energy, okay, that's just electricity and fuel. Once those things are fixed, when you just give people back the 24 hours of power, you will notice the cost of living will slowly, in the next few months, will start coming down. Because no one will have to spend so much. I remember the day before yesterday, I went to buy bread in Chhabota, and the bread didn't even rise. It was like this small. So I'm asking the guy at the bakery, like, what is this? He's like, boss, my light is the ovens were on. So it's not really their fault.
Like a stunted bread.
It didn't even rise, But he said, look, it's not our fault.
Oh Lord.
The bread was in the oven, then power just snapped. What can we do? So before our backup generators could kick in, the bread was already,
How the heck do you sell that bread?
Yeah, but they sold it anyway. Look, they're not going to
So you paid
for their
you paid the full price for it.
Unfortunately, I was telling him, I was like, look, I'm not going to
paid the full
I
price.
did pay the 16 kwacha.
Jesus is Lord.
Because I should have paid 10 kwachas.
Yes,
You know? But no,
How
they
can you
already
even
slapped
sell bread like that?
they already slapped those, those price tags on it. So, I felt robbed, But that's the thing.
Minister, wow. In other news.
But guys, we need to wrap up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll wrap up.
No. We are too much. We need to wrap up.
No, we are wrapping up.
2
We are
minutes.
wrapping up.
You 2 minutes.
So, to give you
To
how
wrap up.
dire the situation is, Zesco brought in generators
Yeah.
and, they installed them in various markets. But then that is helping a little bit, though it's the cost that's being slapped onto Zesco again. Because they're saying they're spending a minimum of 350,000 on one generator.
On one generator.
Yeah, that's a lot of money. They
Yeah.
got 8 of them. And they're supposed to have 23 of them.
Yeah. Because my brother works Chanda market in the shop there. And he was saying,
You see when I say wrap up, and then you start the story, and then he adds to the story. This is not wrapping up. Wrap up. Go. Last story, and then we finish.
All right. He said, they're, with the generators, they're actually telling us when to make money and when not to make money.
Yes.
Because the generators only go on at 10.
Yeah.
10.
10 a.m.
10 a.m. But back then, when there was electricity, markets would open at 8. So 8,
7.
9,
Yes.
7.
Yeah.
So by that time, now 10, how many customers would you have
Have you
lost at that
lost?
time?
100%.
18 hours sharp,
Gone.
because markets close at 2:20. So you see, you first lose your first 2 hours in the morning, 3 hours. Then in the evening, 18. It was 17 hours.
You
by
lose
that
3
time.
hours.
So you lose 3 hours. So on average, on a day, you lose about 5 hours that you could have had some customers.
The Queen Bee wants us to wrap up.
Yeah.
So, I want to say that having chosen these people as the good, the bad, and the ugly does not limit the performance of the entire cabinet. A lot of them are crap. We did not touch the issue regarding the Minister of Finance, his governor, and his other people. We also did not talk about the Ministry of Science and Technology as to exactly how the ministers misunderstand the issue regarding cybercrimes, AI. I don't understand all that stuff. We did not talk about exactly what, oh gosh.
Keep going.
We did not talk about many other ministries and how they're mismanaged. We haven't talked about the Ministry of Defense and how money is just wasted there. But our guests will wrap it up for us because Barama's got nothing to say.
No. I do have to say, I've really enjoyed the conversation. And we will just continue in other episodes. You're very welcome back if you're going to join us again. But it was a pleasure to have you.
I will.
Awesome.
Well, thank you for having me.
Wrap it up.
Thank you to wrap it up.
I don't know what to even say. All right, let me just say this bit. Zambia, we are in a very difficult time right now, and we cannot sugarcoat what is happening to our country. We are not headed in the right direction. I don't care how much PR or how much they're spending on PR to tell us everything is fine. You yourself, where you're sitting at home, you know things are not okay. When you look into your purse or your pocket, you know things aren't okay. You can't even watch TV at the time you wish to watch TV. You can't even binge watch Netflix anymore because electricity is now a luxury. You have literally been sent back to let me reiterate. You have literally been sent to 600 BC because you're now living a primitive life in this country. You're queuing up for meal. You do not have electricity. You do not have even clean water. In Challenge, my water comes out brown, okay? So it's not even healthy anymore. There's so many things. Now you have banknotes the size of a showgrounds ticket. I would tell you, look, a country that is doing fine would never be relegated to sixth poorest country in the world. All I'm trying to tell you is this. It's not about what political party I am on. I am just trying to let you guys understand that we're not doing well and we need to do something about it.
We need to do more.
Thank
We
you.
need to take an interest.
I'm very disappointed in him. Very disappointed.
Why are you disappointed?
He didn't say signature phrase.
Which one? I was going to say, now we're going to David.
Can you finish off with Moleko from Netherlands?
So that thing, if into shupa ba Zambia, we cannot just sit back and think like, in fact, let me just say this again, okay? The time is now for the youth to stand up. You are no longer going to be used as tools for others. You're no longer going to be the spectator of their glory. It's time you bring up your ideas. We've had enough complaining to the old people. It's time we showed them that we are not the dancing maniacs they see us on TikTok. There is more to us than that meets the eye. I would just like to tell the Zambian youth out there that the time for lying to us is done. It's time we take up the tools and do the best we can to improve our country, or let these old dinosaurs run the country into the ground. Your choice, you choose. I am on the ZED101 podcast with Mr. Nico, aka Chanda, and Tanya, and I would like to say, guys, thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. Until the next one.
That's what it says. Peace.